Hello, please tell me you're there, Ruel.
I'm here. Can you hear me and see me? I can hear and see you.
I can hear you and see you. And I can also hear Goblin981 resubscribing. He's been with us for 6 months. Thanks, Gob. And thanks, Brenner. And Freak the Zeke. And Bim510. And Crick'em MC. I think we're getting into from a couple of weeks ago now. Thanks, everybody, for supporting the show. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. Fingers crossed. Everybody, cross all of your fingers, all of your limbs. I am literally got my legs crossed down here that I do not screw up like I did 2 weeks ago. It's
I remember reading your when you posted the video on YouTube. I had already taken off right after we live streamed the last time, and Michelle and I, we had a wonderful time on our anniversary. We saw Top Gun Maverick, loved it. It was everything we hoped. Yeah, it was everything we hoped for and more. And then the next day I saw the YouTube video. I was like, oh my gosh, what? And I saw how you had to record the whole thing by yourself. Oh man,
yep.
I literally cringed when I read it. I was like, oh no, I wish I would have been there to help you out.
And the one I ended up putting up was my second take, because I got about halfway through and realized, oh, I'm screwing everything up again. I got to start all over, and I'm running out of time. I haven't backed yet. We're getting on a plane.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it was crazy. But hey, folks, the hype train just pulled into the station. Thanks, Linneus and Flashburn as well. Toot toot, indeed.
Toot, yes.
Yeah. So basically, what happened? It was that there's the export button, right? Which I record a local copy, which I edit and turn into the YouTube version that doesn't have stream avatars and stuff like that. But I also export the full show over. So for people who want to see the full experience, plus it's archived there. And you click on it, and there's a list of choices. There's export and download and make clips. And then there's a line, and below that line, there's delete. And one other thing. So to be fair, I clicked on the wrong side of the line. And to be doubly fair to Twitch, when you click delete, a little thing comes up and said, are you sure you want to delete? And I said yes. Now, to be fair to me, if you say export, I believe a little thing comes up and says, are you sure you want to export? And you click yes. And I was just in such a full-on, we got to go. I just clicked the wrong thing and instantly, the instant I did, my heart stopped.
Yeah.
And then I realized, it's okay. I got the backup. I started uploading the backup, and about a half an hour later, I don't remember why, I went to look at something or other. Oh, because I started to edit the backup to make the standalone thing, and realized, oh my god, all the sound's screwed up. And for whatever reason, your audio was like 20 to 30 seconds off. So when you were talking, just silence, and then your audio and my audio were just squished together, and it was completely useless. Yikes. I still got that video, so we've got a video of it, but effectively no audio. And it's too bad, because the last episode was one of our best ever, I thought.
Yeah, we had a great time, and everything. We even it's funny because we said it during the show, and I think that might have just jinxed it.
Totally.
This is such a great show. So, but thank you for covering me, and thank you for doing that. We still had a show a couple weeks ago, but thanks to our viewers, everyone here, this is your episode, folks. You unlocked this.
Yep.
So thank you for doing that, and. We need to talk about your trip. I mean, a lot of us, we saw the videos of your postings. Hopefully, you got some pictures to share as well, because Michelle and I, when we saw your updates, we're like, oh my gosh, we want to be there. That looks so beautiful, especially when you're on the ship. But I'm going to let you talk about it.
Yeah, let me do. Although, thank you, Party on Dudes, and Matt the Levy, thank you for the bits as well. We're starting to work on unlocking another show. Another bonus video. So we'll be able to get to do this soon again, or play a game together or whatever. But yes, let me go ahead and bring up the browser.
Okay. And just a real quick shout out to Kabuki Kid. They were talking about how the movie Maverick helped in a game of Wits and Wagers the other day. Question asking for Tom Cruise's height in feet and inches. He is 5'7". He's a lot shorter than I thought.
He's a wee little fella. I'm sure you tower over him, or you probably look him eye to eye.
Yeah, no, I'm actually an inch taller than him. Wow, I had no idea. He looks so much taller in the movies.
But why did Maverick help with that? Do they actually mention his height in the movie? I very much doubt that.
Yeah, I don't think they did. I mean, I know that pilots, fighter pilots, they can only be a certain height, because you cannot fit like a 6'10" dude in a person.
Exactly.
In one of those fighter pilots.
You're right.
Yeah.
Maybe if there was ever a movie they would mention his height, it would be this one, because they are. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't.
So, okay, Kabuki Kid, thank you. Yeah, so again, everyone, thank you for hanging out with us today. Really happy to be here. You know, we are doing the R&R Show monthly now, but thanks to you all, we've unlocked a special episode.
Yeah.
You know, we've got the hype train rolling. So,
Yep.
Any bits, subs, or cheers that you do, they go towards the hype train. And it just gets longer and longer the more people
it's
hang
good
out,
fun.
so.
Thank you, Corthine.
Yeah.
Thank you, Little Buster. All right. But yes, let me bring up OneDrive because my wife's, she took almost all the pictures, and so her phone should be sunk. Let me go back to browser. And we were talking about this just before we went live. Here's the entries for the next giveaway, which is a $50 gift sticker from Fun Again. It's a short list. There's only like 140 people on the list. I think that's because, remember the secret word was shark? I don't remember why the secret word was shark now. Oh, Shark Tale, the movie
Shark Tale.
that I was kind of, which
Your
story is lost forever.
Oh, no. Oh, this is such a great story, too.
Yep. How I personally saved Will Smith's career in Hollywood.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah. So the problem is, me saying shark, I say the word sharp a lot. That is a very, it's a really sharp design. It's a really sharp game. And a lot of people wrote in with the wrong name, the wrong game. Because they heard me say sharp, thought it was shark, and said, oh, it's this game or that game or the other game. And like, nope, there was only one game where I very specifically said shark. And if you thought I said shark when I said sharp, it's not like I'm going to say, oh, this is a really shark game. Or what a really shark design. I'm not going to say that. So, we were going to do this today, but then we were talking, let's wait until the next R&R, which will be, I think, the last Thursday of the month, a couple of weeks from now, to get some more people. Although if nobody else, signs up, they're better than normal odds. But let me go over to OneDrive.
And don't forget, folks, if you are a subscriber here on Twitch, and you want to find out exactly what game we were talking about when we see the second word, you can just DM or whisper Richard, and he'll just tell you where it is.
Oh, yeah,
that's
totally.
One of the benefits of subscribing. And if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe for free. So, feel free to drop a sub, and you'll learn where the game is. And,
So
we've got
Amazon
pictures
Prime, you
coming
can literally take money out of Jeff Bezos' back pocket and put it in ours. Isn't that?
Yes.
Although that's what Bezos wants you to do. But I'm not going to complain if you do it. Let's see here. So, right. Here we go. There's a lot of stuff. There's some videos right here. Oh, let me do the eagle. Which one is it? Is it this one?
Why don't we kick things off? Like, how was your trip?
The trip was absolutely phenomenal. We were there for, I think, 8 or 9 days. These pictures are going to be in reverse order because last in, first out. This was in a beach on the Nilchuk. There was some dead fish guts. There's a little bit over to the right, and there was an eagle right there. And I grabbed Jen's phone. I say, I'm going to walk down. Then I'm going to get a close-up of that eagle. And right now, I'm about 20 feet away from that eagle, and I'm literally on my knees, moving closer and closer. I will ultimately get within 10, 15 feet of this eagle. And yeah, it's just there. And just not willing to move a muscle. And I wasn't sure if there was some kind of rule about, you don't get too close to the eagles or something like that. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to stand here. Eventually, this eagle will get freaked out by me and will fly away, and it'll be really cool. I'll get a flyover. Oh, that's not the video where he did fly away, though. Here it is. So, yeah, I mean, he and I just kind of sat there staring at each other for quite a while. Come on, jump up.
Wow, how cool is that?
Yeah, very, very cool.
Bald
It's
eagle.
interesting, actually. Eagles are like seagulls up there. At first, we thought, wow, this is amazing, until we seen our like 50th or 60th eagle. But this one was particularly cool because I got so close, just walked right up to it, and he's just like, yeah, this is my house, pal. I'm not going anywhere.
So that he's pretty big.
Oh yeah, he's huge.
Seagull, right?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
And there he goes. I was right there, flew right over my head, and there's Jen off in the distance with her family, flew right over their heads, and you can see them filming it too. So that was cool. That's not something you see every day.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep. Let's see. Jen took some pictures from the plane. Here's our final mileage on the dash. Because what we did is we rented an RV. Because Jen's been dreaming about doing RV living for like 2 or 3 decades. Ever since her parents retired when we were in our 30s and started traveling the highways and byways and, volunteering at campgrounds and stuff, Jen has always been in love with that idea. And so this, as much as it was about Alaska and seeing all the incredible nature and the beauty of everything and all that, there's 3 glaciers. This is a slightly sad picture because they were talking about how, a few years earlier, all 3 of these glaciers touched out in the middle of this bay. And of course, now they don't. And I was talking with the captain. The captain of the boat actually took this picture to the skipper. Like, are you going to have a job in 5 years? Because those things are all going to melt up and you won't even be able to see them. It's like, we're going to have to redirect and go to completely different glaciers that will still be around. Because they see it every day. It's just disappearing right in front of them. God. But I was glad we went. It was actually funny. This was me. Whenever Jen and I go anywhere, I just have long arms. I really need to buy a selfie stick, but I just try to do the selfie thing. We couldn't quite get all 3 of them, and I was like almost falling over backwards. We were right next to the pilot's cabin, and he said, "Let me take that picture for you." And so he stepped out, and we got to talk directly to the captain, which was very cool. There's a bunch of otters, and this was me actually filming the coming soon for this very episode with a gigantic glacier. This was the closest glacier we could get to, and it was very cool. Just total silence except for people talking, but you could hear all the ice cracking everywhere. Really, very, very amazing. We took a lot of pictures there, and it was interesting. I mean, this was a ship with 200 or 300 people on it, and once the ship stops moving, everybody piles out to get pictures and whatnot. So this is me standing on the bow when it's going at 30 to 40 knots, because it's a fast-moving catamaran, freezing my ass off so that we can hold a space so that, hey, we won't get muscle, because we'd gotten muscled out of one of the earlier ones. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stand here and freeze to death so that we can get our spot. You can't really tell, but it is very cold there. Let's see.
Were you was this like a day trip? Did you go there?
Yeah, that was out of Whittier, Alaska. We did I think it's called 29 Glacier Tours. Well, I don't know if they actually have 29 anymore. While we were in Whittier, we stayed at a little campground, and this was one of the most beautiful streams I've ever seen in my life. Just on a little nature trail, right? We literally parked. This was almost the view from the window of our RV. Where we ended up parking. This was, Jen was just snapping some pictures. Okay, this actually was, this is from up where we were parked looking down towards this little stream. And we just got to listen to the water all night to soothe us to sleep and stuff. I mean, Alaska is, it is a stunningly beautiful place. There's no 2 ways about it. And, the Alaskan government, I mean, they know it's their bread and butter for tourists, but, they just make sure everything stays pristine and beautiful. This was our beast. This was just after, right on the other side of those trees is the river I was just looking at. And we took this picture to have a picture of it. And also we were very proud because we couldn't, the previous places we parked at, they had it at an angle. This one we had to come in at 90 degrees. And just off screen over here was a gigantic boulder. So it was actually kind of tight to squeeze it in there. This was the toughest parking job we had to do the whole time. Okay. But we loved it.
Wow. And did you and Jen split driving duties? Did you take one day? She took another?
Drove. Originally, the plan was I was going to be the only one because it was like $30 per driver. And she said, "Oh wait, I'm not going to drive at all. I'm way too intimidated." But literally at the last second, we said, "Honey, I just in case, it's only $30 compared to how much this thing costs overall and how much this vacation. Just $30 isn't going to kill us. Why don't you do it too?" And then when we got out, I drove us down to the local Costco so we could rendezvous with Jen's family, who had a bigger RV and they were experienced. So we were kind of caravanning with them basically. Yeah. And so I drove there, and there's another beautiful stream in Whittier. Just
very nice.
Everywhere we go, just and you can see there's my arm, our stand. I need to get a selfie stick so I can do better, but that one worked out pretty well. They always end up being crooked because I'm always trying to hold the camera just so. So I drove to Costco, and the Costco was mostly empty. It was a gigantic parking lot. Just said, I'm just gonna try driving in here. This seems like a pretty safe area. I'm not really worried about hitting anything. And then she just kept driving, and she drove for alst the entire week.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I hardly drove at all. The only time.
That is sweet.
Yeah, thank you. Whoever just stickered. It was very sweet. Brenner. Yeah, so Jen, she got very comfortable very quick, and this is me trying. Jen, get a selfie with the pictures in the foreground. Like, that's really hard, but I'm trying to do it. These fireweed or whatever they're called. Jen really loved those. We went to you played Ark Nova, right?
Yes.
We went to a place like Ark Nova. We went to a conservancy place where with all the beautiful environments for all the animals, got up close and personal with grizzly bear. We're not sure if this was a grizzly or just a regular brown bear, but we got really close to this thing, and it just had it must have had like an acre of forest. And we were so lucky when we went to this place. This is the AWCC, the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, and we spent like 4 or 5 hours there. Literally, we came at the exact perfect moment. If we'd come 15 minutes earlier or later, that bear would have been in the woods. Nobody would have seen it. And that moose I wouldn't have gotten within literal spitting distance. Not that I spat at the moose or it spat at me, but I really communed with the moose. And so this was there was kind of a bridge that just walked right underneath us.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, so we were just like, we could almost touch. I think its name is JB. I think it was a brown bear, not a grizzly. But I'm not an expert. There was a nice little black bear off to the side. Oh, yeah. But the coolest thing of all is really kind of represented by this picture. Because this was just on the side of the road. There was just a little pull-out, photograph. And Jen pulled over, and she just took, I don't know, a dozen pictures of this. Because we didn't have to rush. Living in an RV, we're not like, okay, we gotta make the most of this. We gotta get to the next place. And it's like, no, I mean, once you're on the road, you're free to just do whatever you want. And it's so relaxing. And so, I mean, we just got to hang out here. Actually, you can't tell. I am literally out in this field just behind this tree. While Jen was taking pictures, I snuck down there so she could try to surprise her. And I was up there, I think there's a picture of me just waving, trying to get her attention because, let's see. Oh yeah, there it is. I'm down here. It's me. Because she didn't see me.
Someone in chat mentioned Cascadia. This reminds me of Cascadia as well.
Yes. Yeah, I guess this is the tip of Cascadia, right? Cascadia is basically the Pacific Northwest up into Canada. It's like that whole area. Yeah. Right. This was. What is it called? This is Tern Lake, I believe. We didn't come here for the terns, but for just this incredible. Wait, no, the mountain's out of focus. There's other ones. But yeah, these are the most amazing moments. Just stopping and getting to ooh and awe over stuff like this.
So, I mean, all these pictures, it looks like you're the only ones out there. Were there a lot of people out there?
There were the first couple of days because we were actually there 4th of July weekend. And on the 4th itself, we stayed away from everything. And just stayed in the campground. And the campgrounds, because there's a lot of forest fires, there's very strict no fireworks and no noise after 10 p.m. So we had a particularly excellent 4th of July, which is to say we were completely unaware of it. But, if we'd gone into any of the cities, into Whittier or Homer or something like that, I'm sure there were fireworks aplenty, but that's just, I stopped being interested in that when I was a kid, quite frankly. So, pretty much where we went, we were, there were some folks, and there were, there's Jen and her sister and her sister's 2 kids. Her sister's 2 kids who were pretty much as tall as me, tower over their mom there. Hey, Zane and Zoe and Becky and Jen. Lots of nature pictures, just really great stuff. Results of a beaver. A beaver had been here. Was working on that tree. We'll probably come back and finish the job. Oh, and here's what you'd often find me doing with my phone out, desperately looking for cell signal. And that look on my face is what you normally saw. Like, nope. Once again, nothing. This was at a campground.
Could you only get cell signal when you're like near the major cities?
Yeah, pretty much. When you're out on the equivalent of interstates and at campgrounds, there was nothing. You had to go into the major cities. There was one of the people at the campground where he was like, there's this hill over there, and when I got up there, I got 2 bars. I'm like, okay, let's climb up there. Okay. I got no bars. There are no bars. But that's okay. That was part of it, right? To unplug and get away, but it's still kind of my job. I was still posting a few things here and there. Jen, this was in Homer. She was very, very keen on, these are steel. These aren't bricks, these are steel tiles that are, Jen absolutely loved it. We actually, this is Seward, the Seward Community Library and Museum. Jen just saw a picture of this in some magazine. We are going to Seward because I want to see that building. And you can't tell, this whole side is all this kind of purple and blue too, depending on the angle, but so it comes in brown. Jen loved that. Wow. Pictures of us all goofing around, all kinds of stuff. Nice. And it goes on and on. Hey, there was a moose just on the side of on the side of the road, a mama moose and
So
its baby moose
cool.
just getting a drink of water. Everybody just
Wow.
stop and snap some pictures. And with the caller being tracked because they're paying attention. Yeah. Well, this is not what we're here to do. I could do a bunch more, but you get the
love
idea.
it. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, overall, you love the trip, and you're, looking at, I'm assuming you're looking at RVs now, and
Yes.
hopefully continue your adventures. That RV that you had, would that be the size you would want, or do you want to go bigger or smaller?
That was a 25-foot.
Okay.
It was a little tight. It was interesting. Jen's sister and her husband and their 2 kids, they had the next size up, which I believe was a 33 or a 35. And it was so much nicer, than ours. But, I mean, we got used to ours pretty quickly. We played some games while we were there on our little RV table. And, I mean, I don't know. I would imagine what we would ultimately want to do is you saw in the picture, those were Type Cs that are basically just big vans that have a bunch of stuff strapped on. We'd rather have the Type A, which is basically a big bus with a bunch of stuff strapped on, because you get like these huge panoramic views as you're driving around, and we don't need that overhead bunk because we don't have kids. So we'd rather have more usable space. And so we always figured, maybe if we were to get, a high 20s, low 30s, one of those, and then get a smart car. When we lived in England, we actually had, one of those little tiny 2-person 4-2 smart cars. Get one of those, pull them around. That's kind of, honestly, over the next couple of months, I wouldn't be surprised if we, if there's going to be an RV show coming soon to us, we will probably go to it, and we will take a long, hard look, and we will look at what prices are like, and we will think seriously about selling this to finance that, because it was everything Jen ever hoped for. And I mean, the problems, like, okay, yeah, you can hear everything from the bathroom. If you're using that bathroom, there's no privacy. Yeah, there's a door, but you hear it all. And but we got used to that. We had that when we had done a safari in Africa anyway, so we were kind of used to that. And the space was a bit of an issue. Jen being nervous about driving was always an issue, but she very quickly got the hang of it. I was never worried about that, because when I was a mailman back in my 20s, I was trained by the government to drive gigantic trucks. So,
If you go up in size for the RV, though, don't you have to get like a different class of driver's license?
There are, I mean, but when you're going up to the really big stuff, I don't think either of us have any interest in doing like tour bus size things. Right. We would definitely want to not go above like the 35-foot at the most, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So, all the good stuff we talk about. I love all the pictures. I love hearing about this and seeing it. What's the biggest challenge besides Wi-Fi? Obviously the Wi-Fi issue was the toughest.
And of course that was specifically an issue in Alaska. I don't think it would be a problem in Idaho nearly as much necessarily. I mean, really, it was the Wi-Fi. Everything else. Let's see.
Like, obviously you had no problem cooking and eating and
they have little ovens. The ovens were propane powered. Jen very rarely uses an oven anyway. Pretty much, actually, what she uses is a Ninja Foodie, which is like a little all-in-one pressure cooker, air fryer, sauteer super device. And I mean, I imagine we would probably just take one of those. She would get it out when she needs to, run it off the generator. The thing had a built-in generator. What really? The units we had, it was kind of a pain. There was everything was designed to run off. The rig has a main battery that runs the engine, then a leisure battery, it's called. And really, that leisure battery, which is a DC, is really only set up to charge phones and whatnot. So you had to flip an inverter switch that would then run an inverter so you could like power a laptop. And when you did that, that leisure battery died very fast. There were a couple of times when, because all the driving we were doing was in their bigger vehicle, because ultimately there were 6 of us and it was easier to pump all 6 of us into their vehicle rather than ours. So we sometimes went like 3 days without driving, but I was still using a laptop, but that wasn't that big a deal. It just meant we had to run the generator for a half an hour, and then, the leisure battery was recharged and we were good again. Space was an issue. Cooking wasn't really an issue. The microwave was so weak. Jen usually only uses a microwave just to warm her tea, and it was useless for that. We ultimately ended up buying a little used kettle. So Jen was just using that on the stovetop. So cooking was fine. In Alaska, oh my God, the mosquitoes. I've still got a few mosquito bites on me that are still lingering. You
Yikes.
might have seen in some of those pictures, I was wearing a citrus band the entire
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
We completely doused all our clothes in, I forget what it was called, penethyl or something like that. We
Okay.
weren't using any DEET. So, which is actually, I mean, if we'd used DEET, I'm sure we wouldn't have a problem at all. But Jen just didn't want to be all sticky and whatnot
Yeah,
with
yeah.
stuff directly on our skin. So that was kind of annoying. I mean, Alaska has monster bugs. You get out of the RV and it's like you're just swarmed by, oh, what's the monster bug in this particular campground?
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, that was kind of a pain. The first couple ones we stayed at, I mean, we did not luxuriate in the woods. We
Mhm.
stayed in the RV, and if somebody had to go out to do something, shut the screen, shut the screen, shut the screen. Becky's kids were terrible. They would just like very languidly open the screen and hands
Oh,
hang out like,
man.
shut the screen. What's wrong with you? Were you raised in a barn? Do you not see the size of these horseflies? These biting horseflies? Ugh.
Oh, my
So that was
gosh.
kind of a pain, but
Wow.
we kind of got the hang of it.
So this was the first time, your first vacation. How many? About six?
We figured
6
about
years or
6
so?
years.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we have got. I mean, I saw you at Dice Tower West. Some people would consider that like a working vacation, going to get board game conventions, but a vacation
Yeah.
that served no purpose other than just to rest and relax and to unplug. That was
Yeah.
our first one we'd done in over half a decade, and it was absolutely amazing. And I don't mean to downplay Alaska. Alaska was amazing, but more than that, the freedom of living in that RV was unlike anything we'd ever done before. The closest, many, many years ago, we did a catamaran cruise through the Aegean Sea. And we were on a
Oh,
catamaran with like 2 other couples. It was like a really big sailboat for
yeah.
about a week. And that was pretty amazing.
Wow.
That was back when we were in our late 30s. So that was been like 15 years ago, I think. Maybe that was our was that I forget, maybe our 15th wedding anniversary, our 20th wedding anniversary. I don't know. We've been married for 30 years now, whatever. So long you lose track. So
Right.
that was kind of comparable, but having the freedom, and more than anything else, as many amazing things as we saw, the coolest moments were when we were just, hey, let's just stop and pull off and just look. Or Jen's favorite thing by far was, you know what, I have to go to the bathroom, I'm just going to pull over and go to the bathroom right now. I don't have to
Wow.
hold it till we get to the next rest area or the
Yeah.
next city or whatever. I can just, that freedom of the road was transformative.
That's so cool. I'm so envious, and the pictures were amazing. And yeah, again, like I said right before we went on air, you seem rejuvenated, refreshed, relaxed, rejuvenated, all the R words here on the R&R show. So that's great. Is there anything that, besides that freedom you're talking about, is there anything else that you're taking away from this trip? Like, are you thinking this is going to be in the near future for you and Jen? Do you feel like it's going to
Well,
be
Jen's
the way?
dream has always been to get a smaller RV than what we had and basically tour Europe. It was one of the things we always
Okay.
wanted to do. And in fact, when we lived in Europe, we had gotten a camper van that had a pop top. It was a Mazda Bongo, imported from Japan, because British outdoor enthusiasts love the Mazda Bongo, which was discontinued in like 1997 or something like that. But there's this huge
Okay.
industry of getting them refitted and refurbished and imported. And so we had gotten one of those. And, that's the first time we ever took a trip. It was to Mont Saint Michel in France. That was the first time we ever played a modern board game. That's why I picked up Pandemic
Oh,
to go on
okay.
this week-long camping trip.
Wow.
And we thought that was very cool, but I don't think we'd want to do it again in such a tiny little van. That, compared to the relative luxury of the 25-footer we had.
Yeah.
But, what we had in Alaska worked great. It would never work in European cities,
Oh,
where
really?
most roads are literally holdovers from ancient Roman cart roads, where often there
Yeah.
are not 2 lanes, and there's barely what we would consider 1 lane here. So, I mean, I
Jeez.
know there's like a whole other industry where, I mean, they're so much more aggressively focused for European RV living on incredible efficiency of space and things within things within things and all of that. But they're also much more expensive than the ones you can get over here because, hey, America's big and we like our RVs big, and it makes it easier to make them cheaper the bigger they get.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's ultimately Jen's long-term dream. Are we going to do an interim dream because one thing, Jen, where we are in southern Washington is great in the summer months. Oh, it's so beautiful here.
Okay.
But it is, 7 to 9 months of just nonstop wall-to-wall gray, drizzle, overcast once you get into fall and winter. and spring too. So Jen would definitely like to get the hell out of here during that time. So she's thinking, what about 6 months on, 6 months off?
There you go.
Yeah, that kind of a thing. So we're talking about it. Nothing's going to happen immediately. There was a lot of catch up to do when I got back, obviously. And we'll see how it goes. So something like that might be in the future, or maybe we'll just put it back on the shelf and, this ticked the box and it scratched the itch for a while, and it's more of a long-term project rather than a short-term project.
Right, there you go. I mean, you were on the road there and you were enjoying yourself, but you still managed to put out content, which totally still blows my mind away. I mean, your updates from out there in the middle of Alaska were great. It was a nice little look at seeing what you were doing, and if you do the 6 months on, 6 months off thing, you could still do content.
The thing is, I mean, a smaller game I could play on those tables. And I could set up an overhead camera. I mean, I think it is definitely doable. It's trickier for Jen. That's actually one of the big things that's holding her back, is because she is really hitting her stride with gamerglass.art these days.
Yes.
She loves her studio. She loves the work she's doing, and she doesn't necessarily want to put that on hold. And honestly, when it gets really crappy here, the weather's bad. That's when she spends the majority of her time making glass and whatnot. And it would be harder for her to take her work on the road. She could potentially do it. So that's another thing to look into as well. Could she set up some kind of tent because she literally works with flame. She has to keep the wind away from the flame. Or would she work inside? I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely something that will happen now. Before this, it was always, maybe someday we'll do it. Now it's definitely someday we will do it, because we were both incredibly comfortable. I grew up on a boat. I grew up on a 42-foot steel hull sailboat. I lived a big portion of my childhood, something similar. So I knew I was fine with it. So it was really for her, and she is more determined than ever to make this a reality now.
Oh, that's great. That's so nice to hear. Okay.
Plus, we get to take the dogs, and if I'm there and the dogs are there, wherever that is, Jen is home as far as she's concerned.
That's cool. Yeah. That's good to hear. Well, thank you for sharing that. That was an amazing story.
Yeah, any questions?
I love all the pictures.
You know what, folks? If you have questions, we have to do an actual show here today. We're here to do a top 10. So if you have any questions, by all means, let's hit them in the Q&A after we're done with the show. Please ask your question with a question mark at the beginning of the question. It'll go into a special queue. I'll be more than happy to answer more stuff. Ruel will be happy to talk about Maverick and 9 years. Congratulations. That is a big deal.
It is. And, I can honestly say, I'm not just saying this, but I have loved every single year. I've loved every moment. Like any other couple, Michelle and we have our ups and downs like anyone else. But the ups far outweigh the downs, and it was a simple celebration. We just wanted to take some time off, go see a movie, and then we actually had an additional celebration just the other night. We went out to a new sushi restaurant near us, had a wonderful dinner, and just relaxed, and then we spent time with our dogs. So it was all good. That's what it's the time that you spend with someone. That's what matters. So thank you for that. And I do want to thank everyone again. While you were out, Michelle and Monique and I played Trick Draw. We had a great time live streaming that here.
That was a great video.
It was so much fun, and it was really nice to have Monique here. It was the first time she was here at our house and in the studio, and we had such a good time. We actually, after we went off air, we went and just had a nice late lunch with her and played some games as well. So that was neat. I gotta tell you real quick.
Well, before you tell me real quick, I have to say, welcome, Book of Nerds Raiders. Thanks for the raid.
Thanks,
you
John.
just missed my pictorial tour of Alaska, but now we're talking about what was Ruel get up to while I was off in Alaska last week. Please continue.
Yeah,
but welcome,
Thank
Raiders.
you, Book of Nerds, for the raids. Yeah, welcome, Raiders. So now I'm chatting a little bit about what was happening. So I wanted to share this one behind the scenes story. Last week when Monique from Before You Played came over here, we played Trick Draw with Michelle. It was literally the second I pressed go live on the screen. I'm streaming on the channel. Behind the scenes, we've got like 10 minutes. We have this, pre-roll. You can listen to the music, you see stuff. Our pugs, Mookie and Meeple, came in here, started fighting or whatever, and they took down my computer desktop. Fell down. The overhead cam came down, and the face camera came down. It was a disaster, Richard. And
this was during the 10-minute countdown, right?
During the 10-minute countdown. So Michelle.
So you can't even check to see if you're trying to set stuff up if you're fixing it.
Nope.
Because the countdown has to stay on screen.
Yeah, I was totally freaking out. I was this close, friends, to just calling the whole thing off. I was like, there's no way. But Michelle was really, I impressed the heck out of Michelle and Monique.
Really?
I put my calm face on. I took a deep breath. It's like, you know what? What's done is done. Now it's time to just fix everything. So I put one camera up, put the other one up.
Wow.
Redid the table, and with a minute or two to spare, we were good to go. We did have to do some adjusting on air, but that's what the pre-show is for.
Yes,
we're
of course.
talking with chat. Yeah, we're talking with chat, and I was able to fix stuff, and oh my gosh, it was like it was insane. And yeah, we the things that we do to get the show on the road, it's
live.
Crazy, but
it's
yeah,
stressful.
it was fun.
Totally.
It was a lot of fun. We really did legit enjoy that game. So folks, if you haven't already, go check it out. I'm sure there'll be links in the show notes to Trick Draw. And there's all kinds of great videos that were released during your time off up there in Alaska. So be sure to check those out.
Thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. We've got, we also have outstanding requests from people because the longer you watch, folks, the more Rahdo points you unlock. If you look down at the bottom of your chat, somewhere down there, you can spend them on things. And people have requested stuff of us. We just spend so much time with that. I don't know how much time we have to do regular requesty things, but we feel like we should do something. You want to do a top 3? You want to do a this or that? Or you want to do a Ruel ranks?
Let's do a top 3.
Okay, top 3 from Nazgoth. I am marking that as complete. Audience, here's what you need to do. This is participation time. Start suggesting topics that you would like to hear the 3 greatest ofs. They could be games, they could be TV shows, they could be seasonings, whatever you like. I'm going to start making a poll that you will vote in, and Ruel will give me your best suggestions. Let's see, new poll.
Okay.
What?
So drop them in chat, folks. We'll keep an eye out.
Alrighty, cool.
Okay,
cool. Right.
Let's see.
I should warn you, folks. If you want your choice to be chosen, the votes generally tend to go towards board game topics. Not always, but if there's a board game on the list, it'll probably be that one. But search whatever you like, and Ruel will be the first filter because he'll tell me some stuff, and then you folks will vote on whichever. Once you got a few. All right.
Here's a good one from Kabuki Kid. Top 3 games that you enjoy that are far outside of your usual likes.
All right. Okay. What do I call it? It's very short. Games we shouldn't like. Okay. Cool.
Perfect. Nice. Okay. Oh, another one from Kabuki. Top 3.
Kabuki's done this before.
Pre-1990 board games. Ooh.
Pre-90s.
Pre-1990. That's a
all right. One. Okay.
Let's see. From our friend Matt DeLevy, he says top 3 pastries.
All right, pastries.
Always a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
give me 2
see.
more.
2 more. Goblin says top 3 farming games.
Farming games. All right, that's a good one.
Okay. And we're going to stick with the. I don't know which one to go with. So we have a choice: top 3 reprints with new art, or the top 3 Tom Cruise movies. I gotta go with top 3 Tom Cruise.
That's
movies,
what I'm doing.
Yeah, top 3.
Alrighty.
Tom Cruise.
Okay, folks, you are going to have 2 minutes to vote on this, and it should appear like above your chat and all that. If you are a longtime viewer, you can spend your channel points to buff up your vote. You can actually spend bits to buff up your vote as well. Oh dear, look at that. It's off the screen. Let me fix that. Alrighty, where do I need to go to do that? I need to hit this button. Then I need to hit this button. Then I need to click it. If I can click it, there it goes. And then I drag it up here. And then I cover up Ruel. Alrighty, but that's okay. Then we will just go to this view, and Ruel and I, in theory, should. Oh, what happened? Oh dear, everything's falling apart. No, bring it back.
I'm still here.
Wait, actually, did I even move it? I don't know what's happening. Everything's falling apart. It's all falling apart. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's what I want. I want that, and there we go. So, transition to that. There we go. All right, cool.
Okay. Cool.
So now people can see what they're voting on, and I guess there's about a minute left. We will not be using the wheel today because we are going to wait. You folks, go to rnr.rahdo.com after we're done here. Watch the most recent from 2 weeks ago episode of the R&R, because we are still taking contest entries to win a $50 gift certificate from Fun Again Games. You just have to find the secret word. And it was a shorter episode than normal, so yeah, you don't want to miss out on that. Let's see here. That bugs me. That's just kind of floating off there in space. Can I grab it still? No, because I'm not in that mode anymore. Can I? No, I can't.
Okay,
I have to come back over to this.
Is in the lead.
Then I can drag it. There we go. That's a bit nicer. And then I switch back to that, and there we fine. Okay. So how is the voting going? I wasn't even looking at that. Oh, I haven't voted. I've only got a few seconds. Click.
Oh, Tom
click.
Cruise. Oh, Tom Cruise making a comeback.
I'm giving Tom Cruise. I gave Tom Cruise 1 vote.
Wow. It's a neck-and-neck race between games we shouldn't like and best top 3 Tom Cruise movies.
Wow. Sorry, pastries and farming games and pre-90s games. Tom Cruise. Oh my gosh. Movie. It won by 3.
Wow.
And one of those was me.
I need to. I want to look at the full list of Tom Cruise movies here.
All right. Yes. To the IMDb, shall we? Okay. Hold on a second. All right. I need to go back to the browser. I need to get out of this mode because that's confusing me. IMDb, Tom Cruise. All right. Browser.
Okay.
There we go.
According to IMDb, he's been in 50 movies as an actor.
That's it?
A lot of movies. That's
honestly,
a lot of movies.
I would have expected more, quite frankly.
Huh.
All right. As an actor, as an actor. All righty. Well, obviously, Jack Reacher Never Go Back. You don't even have to debate that. Obviously.
I'm going to tell you this one. I've never seen a Jack Reacher movie, so I have no idea what I'm missing.
Jack Reacher, the first one was actually okay, but the second one was... He should not... It's the truth is in advertising. He should not have gone back for a second Jack Reacher, quite frankly.
I've got a surprise pick for one of mine. I'll tell you that right now. It's a movie I absolutely love. Man, I feel like we should start with this be our number 3, if you'll
sure.
Agree to
what do you got?
The movie Collateral. Him and
Jamie Foxx, right?
Yes.
And I think that was directed by Michael Mann, if I recall correctly.
Michael Mann, yeah. I'm a huge Michael Mann fan. He did Heat with De Niro and Pacino. Collateral, I think, is right up there. And, it's one of those things. It was a different role for Cruise. He was a bad guy. He wasn't the good guy.
Yeah.
And Jamie Foxx was outstanding as the cabbie. But, boy, what a turn of characters for Tom Cruise. And he was ruthless, brutal. And just the movie itself. Okay, here's the thing. It's... The way they shot it, and I love this about Michael Mann. It was almost like, not this scene, but the whole the cinematography or whatever just made LA look so beautiful at night. And I love how he captured that. So that's the one I'm going to vote for that I would love to see on this list.
Honestly, I don't have a problem with that one at all. That is a phenomenal movie, and it's so outside the box for him. Just like a really tense little character piece between battle of wits between these two people, and yeah, probably one that a lot of people have seen as well.
Yeah,
I agree. That's a good call.
I love that movie.
I'd put that in a 3.
He's been a lot of good movies. I'm looking at this like this is actually tough.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, first of all, okay, we're gonna go with Collateral. I think we have to put one Mission Impossible in.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna put one, which one? Just one.
I've always been a sucker for the very first one, just because it kicked off the franchise and stuff. It's probably not the best one.
Here's the deal. I would say it is.
You think so? Really?
Oh gosh, yes, it is.
Okay.
It is just about flawless. And I think all of them are good. Although honestly, I'm not that big a fan of the John Woo one, the second one. But
that one was disappointing. I agree.
Yeah. But it was coming off of the best one of all. Is it Brian De Palma?
Brian De Palma, yeah.
Yes. And it is. I would say it is by far the most iconic because it must be a 30-year-old movie now, and people will still parody the breaking in with the pressure-sensitive floor thing to this day. That is one of the most iconic moments in all of cinema.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I'd be cool with that. We should also probably do one of his early ones. What of his early films? Baby Crew.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Do we leave Top Gun off this list? Do we leave Jerry Maguire off this list? Do we leave The Firm or A Few Good Men? He's done so many.
The Color of Money and
Color of Money.
Yeah, Born on the 4th of July. Rain Man.
Rain Man. Oh my gosh.
This is hard.
Wow.
This was gonna be easy until you actually looked at the freaking list.
Yeah.
Just go by the first thing. And Magnolia, by the way. I guess I wouldn't consider Magnolia a Tom Cruise film.
Yeah, that's more like an ensemble film.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And he just has a small part, but he is absolutely amazing. I don't think anything he said in that movie is quotable on this show, so we will just leave that be.
Right. I mean, one of his earliest roles, Risky Business. I think that was a terrific movie.
I mean, that made him a star. And by the way,
that was the one.
Collateral was not his first time as a villain. Taps.
Oh, okay.
I mean, geez Louise. Wow. I don't think I've seen Endless Love, which apparently was his first film, but Taps.
I've never seen that either.
Really, what was just such a breakout performance for him, although really it was Risky Business.
Risky Business
that put him.
Oh, he was I forgot he was in Legend. Okay, my all-time favorite cheesy Tom Cruise movie, Cocktail. Cocktail was terrible, but I love that movie. I don't care what anyone says.
I will never forgive Cocktail for giving us Kokomo. Just actually saying it in my head is now emblazoned in my head for at least a week. And I've been having nothing but sweet, sweet week of Sweet Child of Mine, Paradise City, after having watched Thor, Love and Thunder, which is basically a Guns N' Roses music video.
Nice.
And now it's gone, just disappears because of Kokomo. We'll get there faster and we'll take it slow because that's where we want to go.
Oh my
down in Kokomo.
That's so funny. A Few Good Men. I always thought it was a fantastic movie. Michelle and I just rewatched that recently.
It is a fantastic movie. But you know what? I'm not going to say that's a fantastic Tom Cruise movie. That is a fantastic Aaron Sorkin movie. You know.
You know what? Yeah, I would agree with that. You're right. Jerry Maguire. I mean, people
it's hard to say no to Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire really is just about perfect too.
You know.
And again, also.
You had
me at hello. In terms, I mean, help me help you.
Help me help you.
I mean, so again, just so, I mean, I have become part of lexicons the world round.
Yeah.
I really loved War of the Worlds, if I'm honest. I know that one didn't get as much love. Tropic Thunder again. I mean, God, that was amazing. But again, he's just got a quick walk-on role for that.
Yeah, I would just call that like a cameo for him, basically. Yeah. Eyes Wide Shut. I actually watched that a couple of times. I'm still sort of weirded out by it.
You kind of had
totally
to.
understand it. Yeah, but that's Stanley Kubrick. Totally over my head. But
oh my gosh! Man. Oh, it's rumored that there's going to be a sequel to Live, Die, and Repeat, or as it was known in the theaters, Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow, really?
Oh. Wow, that's cool.
Interview with a Vampire. A great vampire movie. If you're into that. Okay, so what do we have? We have Collateral.
I think we can. We have to give it to Jerry Maguire. I am totally down with Collateral. And are we gonna go with the first Mission Impossible?
You know what? You're talking about that iconic scene when he's hanging by the threads there over the thing. It's been so influential. Why not? And can you believe it, folks? We're talking top 3 Tom Cruise movies that it doesn't include Top Gun. Doesn't include Rain Man. Doesn't include A Few Good. I mean, so many. Well, I even like The Firm. I thought he was great in The Firm.
The Firm was it was fantastic. Yeah, totally.
He was terrific in that.
Yep, but okay, we've done it. I would say we have made the definitive once and for all list, and I'm sure no one will disagree at all. At all.
Yeah, let us know, folks, what your favorite Tom Cruise movie is. We've got a bunch of these in chat. I love it. Few Good Men. The interview. Oh, I forgot. He was in Vanilla Sky. Wow, I forgot about that. I have to admit,
I barely remember Vanilla Sky. That is something I would certainly like to see again. But I really, it did not leave a strong impression with me.
Mm-hmm. Was he? Oh wow, he was. I forgot. Far and Away. Remember that?
That is by far my wife's favorite Tom Cruise movie. She loves Far and Away so much.
Nice.
I've no wish to fight you. That is one of her favorite quotes. Nice. I mean, Far and Away is, a Ron Howard movie. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Wow, so many good. He's done a lot of good
I could be talked out of Jerry Maguire. There's a lot of things I think we could switch in there, but I'm totally down with Collateral and Mission Impossible, quite frankly.
Okay, those two. I feel like I mean Collateral for me. I feel like that's so overlooked as far as he's on all these big blockbusters and stuff, but I think he was so good in that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad we agreed on those. You know what? I could make Top Gun was so iconic. If we're talking iconic movies, come on.
Yes,
Top
of course.
Gun.
And
We made our choice.
It's a great. Is it a great movie? It's a great popcorn movie, but is it a great movie?
Yeah, it's definitely a great popcorn movie. I'll give
And,
you
there, and
that.
I don't mean to disparage that, but I
Yes,
would say
yes.
Collateral and Mission Impossible are great movies. And I would say
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire is a great movie, in addition to being a great romantic comedy and an ensemble drama piece and all that. But I think it goes above and beyond a lot of his stuff. All right,
I
but
agree.
we are here to actually talk about board games, and
that's right.
that took a bit longer than I thought.
Okay.
So,
well, we're coming up on the hour, so we got a show to do. Why don't we get to that, and we can always come back and chat a little bit more with the audience.
okay, well, you can chat now because I just realized I totally forgot to set up my screens and whatnot, so I need to do that.
Cool.
So
Right,
check
so
out, find out how much everybody hates us now because of our list.
Let's see. So what are people saying here? Legend, Kabuki Kid, Tom Cruise with extra long hair, his real hair too. Vanilla Sky, I need to watch that again. Devil's Advocate. Oh no, that was the Keanu Reeves movie. Goblin rewatched it. It's like The Firm with a twist. Yeah, totally remember that one.
Devil's Advocate, isn't that Keanu Reeves?
Keanu Reeves, yes.
Yeah.
With Al Pacino, and it's sort of silly, but Ruckus mentioned Seven. That movie, wow, that was pretty intense. I remember that one with Morgan.
Okay, they've apparently moved away from Tom Cruise centric.
Yeah, they're talking about
we like movies. Let's talk about movies.
Yeah, let's see. Anyone else?
Which is cool.
I'm trying to see if anyone else had some love for Collateral. I don't see many comments on Collateral. Oh, Minority Report, another fantastic movie. Wow, we forgot that one too. Yeah. People were talking about Mission Impossible 3, Tropic Thunder. Oh, the Tropic Thunder cameo, always fun. But yeah, he's done so many fantastic movies. I got to give it up to him. Let's see, Rock of Ages. I never saw Rock of Ages. I feel like I should. Wait, was he in Young Guns? No.
I think I saw it. He just had like a little walk-on part. He was
a sniper. He wasn't one of
like
the
that
main
in some scene.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
So,
hey, let me ask you a question. Back to the browser.
Let
me go to before I do, because I'm setting stuff up, which I should have done before we ever started. Coming back to the browser. Do you like Board Game Geek normal white? Because, I mean, obviously, these are... Oh, folks, we're going to be doing the top 10 games we're most anticipating for the rest of the year. We're at the halfway mark of the year. We talked, hey, do we want to do kind of like a retrospective, best games so far, or best games we're looking forward to? And we also decided best games we're looking forward to. So none of these games have videos or anything, so we're just going to be on Board Game Geek. But what do you think? Should we, here's just what a game looks like in the normal white version, or my special plugin black version?
Ooh. You need a special plugin for that?
Yes, it is. Board Game Geek does not support night mode. I have a little Chrome plugin. What's it called? It's excellent. Dark Reader. And I just have a shortcut. Reader. So any page, I can just switch back and forth from regular to dark. So you think we look like this?
Yeah.
All right.
I love I'm always down for dark mode. I just added it to Chrome as well. Thank you for that.
Oh, it's excellent. It works really nicely.
So cool. Yeah. Dark mode. Nice.
Yep. Cool. Okay. All right. Then sweet. I don't need you. Then, okay, I think I'm ready to go. If the audience is ready to go and you're ready to go, we can do our regular show.
Let's do this, yeah. Final check.
But we need a secret word. No, we don't. We have no contest today. There's no pressure here. I mean, I have no sponsor because you, folks, are the sponsor of this show. You unlocked it with your support of the show. So we do not need a secret word. So that's one less thing we have to worry about. There's nothing on the table. Then we're just ready to go. We just say, hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? And we will say, by the way, folks, check out episode 45. The contest is still open there. You have to find the secret word there, but there will be no secret word today. We're just here to talk about the games. We are excited for the rest of the year. Did you go most predominantly with the previews, or how did you...
I just went to those two preview lists, the Gen Con.
Okay, you just relied on that entirely.
That's it. There's one. I'm sure you can guess which one. There's one game that I didn't see on there, but I know it's coming out this year, and
I know which one it is. Yes,
you know what.
And I was surprised it wasn't on the list, but I know it's coming.
Me too. I was what the heck? But
I did the same thing because I felt like, okay, for folks who don't, I guess we'll talk about this a little bit in the show. What are we actually basing this on? Okay, so we'll do that in the show. We don't have to do this ahead of time. Then the only thing we have to do before the show itself starts is we have to let people destroy themselves and each other in an epic battle royale.
Good luck, everybody.
Alrighty, so, battle royale. All right, the battle royale begins. And I just closed the list. Of course I did. Open it again. Fortunately, I have a shortcut for it, so that's fine. Okay. How are we doing? Streaming avatars. All right. A.G. Fox is gigantic. Snake Plissken is lording over everyone, but immediately throws down with Lord of Cardboard, and Lord of Cardboard stands his ground. It's an epic Battle of the Titans, David and Goliath situation, but they split up, and A.G. Fox gets the health pack. It's good to be the big guy in town, but he is surrounded by Andrew and Goblin and Variant X, and they tag team to take him down very quickly. And then Nazgoth shows up to the party, but a little late, is taken out by this unstoppable trio. Andrew Scott, but now Andrew moves out on his own with his Plunger of Doom and throws down with Kabuki Kid. Andrew Scott is unstoppable. He's got 50% health. He is definitely the odds-on favorite. But Radruss and Variant Hex are teaming up, but Andrew still can't be stopped. Now he throws down with A Rising. Oh, finally, his reign of terror is over. It's down to Feldfan and new fighter AA Rising. AA Rising, throwing down with an old favorite, but Feldfan was unstoppable. Feldfan, the winner.
Well done.
Okay.
Cool.
That was fun.
Feldman. And y'all have been regenerated. You're
Yes.
back.
Oh, and AA Rising's just resubscribed. I'm sorry, AA Rising. I guess I just haven't noticed you before. Apparently, you've been with us for 6 months, and you came in number 2. Almost made to the top. Thank you for resubscribing. Thank you, 4S, for subscribing as well from the raid. Oh, that was good. Okay, cool. Then it is time to get this party started. We need to put that banner on screen. We need to warn everybody that we will not be looking at stuff. Okay, folks, we're about to do the show. Because we haven't played any of these games, this is a lot of supposition. I imagine this will be a quicker show than normal. Probably 30, 40 minutes, right?
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah.
Yep. Which means there should be time afterwards for some Q&A. So if you have any questions about anything, Tom Cruise, Alaska, or pugs. Those 3 topics. That's all you get.
There you go.
Any of those topics, please start your question with a question mark, and that will add it to a queue so we can do a Q&A section at the end. Although the other thing we'll do is, oh man, Ruel, this list, 5 are mine, 5 are yours. I had 21 that I wanted to talk about that I had to whittle down to frickin' 5.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I stuck to my 10. I just stuck to the 10, but then I whittled it down to 5. But I know there are a few more that I could talk about as well. But
okay.
I'm assuming a few of mine are going to be on your list.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be some overlap. I'm confident there will be some. And so, folks, after we're done with the show, we'll talk about a few more. That's the benefit for being here for the show, for the extended, for the super show, and then we'll do some Q&A afterwards. Sound good?
Sounds good. Let's do
All right,
this.
one more sip.
Same.
All righty, where did the... There it is, box cover. And this is episode 46. Let me just double check that, just to be sure. R&R.rado.com says the most recent episode is episode 45. Yep, okay, so it's episode 46. Right, and we don't have a sponsor, right? So what do I say? How do I open this?
Our friends and our friends in chat.
There you go. Okay, very good. Okay. Hey everybody, this week's episode of the R&R Show is brought to you by you. Thank you very much for supporting the show. This is a bonus R&R that has been unlocked by people subscribing on Twitch, buying Rado merch, becoming members on YouTube. All that stuff adds up to occasionally unlock a bonus because the R&R Show is a monthly show, but we're getting to do a bonus one thanks to you folks. Thank you very much for all your support. And hello, Ruel. How are you doing, man?
Good, Richard. Thank you again, friends, for unlocking this bonus episode. Super excited to be here because it is a bonus episode. We normally do a monthly show, but thanks to you all, we get to do it a little more than monthly. And anytime I get to hang out with Richard is a good time in my book. Richard, you look rejuvenated, refreshed, and relaxed thanks to your week-long, or actually over a week-long vacation now up there in Alaska, correct?
Yep, yeah. Jen and I had an amazing time. We rented an RV. We spent, I think, I think it was either 7 or 8 days on the road, then plus travel back and forth. So it was the first vacation we'd had in 6 years and maybe one of the best vacations we've ever had, period. We had a great time. And if you're just watching the R&R show, folks, what are you doing? Did you not know there's an R&R extended edition where you can see, in addition to the top 10 we're about to do, which I'm very excited to hear what Ruel comes up with, we talk about a bunch of other stuff. And I did a little slideshow tour of some of the highlights of our show. So if you want, you can hit that eye in the top right corner of the screen to check out the extended version of the show. Or if you just want the games, James, then you're in the right place, because we're about to talk about our 10 most anticipated games that haven't come out yet for the remainder of 2022.
Yeah, that's it. So, folks, be sure to click on those show notes. Go watch the extended show. You're going to see some amazing photos that Richard took, and I loved hearing all about the story. So go check that out on the extended edition. But yes, we are here to talk about 10 games, folks. 10 games that are going to be coming out sometime during this year that we're super excited about. I know the ones I've got. I cannot wait to play them. And I'm going to give you a little spoiler, folks. Yeah. I've actually played one of them, but in a prototype form. Okay. So that's coming up real soon here. Anything else we got to take care of business-wise?
Well, I mean, of course, caveats, of course, things happen. These might not show up before the end of 2022. But to make this list, what we did is we went on Board Game Geek and checked out the Gen Con preview and the Essen Spiel preview, because that's full of a bunch of games, hundreds of games, that the publishers are confident will be at those conventions. So we sorted by games for sale, not for demo, games, not expansions, and we really used that as the basis for our list. So we're relatively confident you should be able to get your hands on these. That meant there are some games that I think are coming out this year that aren't on this list because the publishers have. If you're not confident you're going to make it by Essen, I'm not confident you're going to make it by the end of the year. So there are some games we could have talked about, but they didn't quite make the list, right?
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, that is correct. You'll hear about it now. Speaking of our extended show, folks, if you watch the extended show, sometimes we also talk about the games that didn't make our list. So you get the 10 here, but during the after show, you may hear about a bunch more. So be sure to click that link and check out the extended show.
Yeah, also, you'll hear about even more if you are a YouTube member or a Patreon subscriber of the show, because my monthly ramble this month is going to be a Gen Con preview, where I'm going to dig deep. I'm going to scour through that entire Gen Con preview list. Hundreds and hundreds of games, talk about the ones to get, the ones to demo, the expansions, all of that. So that'll be coming too if you're a member on YouTube or a Patreon subscriber. But that's all for the future, because we are here now. We are ready to talk about 10 games. And are you ready with number 10?
I'm ready. So here we go. Our top 10 most anticipated games for the rest of the year.
Okay.
I'm gonna start things off with a fun one. Our number 10 is Bigfoot Roll and Smash. I mean, how could you not love that name, right? Bigfoot Roll and Smash. And that's what it is. Folks, Bigfoot is a well-known monster truck. And I've never gone to a monster truck rally. I've never had no interest in it, but this game makes me want to go to one. You are playing, it's a programming game, so you're going to be programming. Yeah, you're going to be programming these monster trucks to go around the track. And you're going to hit obstacles, and you're going to go around trying to get the most victory points by being the most destructive giant monster truck that you can. And while you're at it, you're going to try to mess with your opponents by throwing obstacles in their way, hazards and whatnot. And of course, you got to do it in style, right? You have to smash them up in style.
Right.
I actually got last year they had announced this. This is by XYZ Game Labs. They had announced this last year and gave us a really small preview of it. But it is, according to the website, it's going to be available at this year's Gen Con. And the thing that really makes me excited about this, Richard, is the designers, Rob Huber and Brendan Riley.
Okay.
I think we've both played their previous design, a game called Titania Ascending, the roll and write game. This is their next game. This is not a roll and write game, but this is their next game. And Titania Ascending, folks, was outstanding. That was a great roll and write. So I'm excited to see what they're going to be doing with this game here. Bigfoot Roll and Smash. That's our number 10 of our most anticipated games for the rest of the year.
I will be honest. I thought this was literally a joke entry of yours, but
Really?
wow, you really, I mean, I was not interested in this at all, but I really love programming. But okay,
yes.
you undersold the most important thing. Where's a picture of it? The dice. Look at these
look at those
dice.
dice. Yeah.
They're gigantic monster truck tires. How does that even
cool.
work? So I guess you roll them and they roll. Wow.
No, yeah, I'm not sure. Now, I don't know if these were just prototype. I'm assuming these are.
Yeah, this is all
but-
prototype. You can tell these are like prototype
Yeah.
miniatures in
Yeah,
these
I'm not
pictures.
sure how they're gonna do. If it's gonna be Kickstarter, or I don't know if this is gonna be like a deluxe version or whatnot. So I wasn't really sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still. I love the designers. I love their first game, so I'm excited to see what they do with this one as well.
I do agree. Titania Rising is fantastic, and it looks like this is direct to retail. There's no reference on Board Game Geek about a Kickstarter campaign coming. So, is this one coming to Gen Con?
That's from what I understand.
That was on the Gen Con preview, so
it was on the
definitely
list,
want to check out. And honestly, Ro, this is why I am so happy you are here, because man, I did not even give this a first thought when I was going through the list. Like, okay, let's move on to the next one. But geez, there's some surprising stuff going on there. I like it
really
a lot.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited about this one. So that's our number 10, folks. Bigfoot, Roll, and Smash.
All right,
Let's
that's
move
very,
on.
very cool. Now, let's move on to number 9. One that I am very, very excited about, and I think will be a little bit less surprising if anybody's familiar with the kind of games I tend to go for and the publishers and designers I tend to gravitate towards. Number 9 is Lofoten, or Lofoten. I'm not really quite sure how to pronounce it. It is a game in which 2 Jarls of Lofoten, which will be the most skillful. It's from Pearl Games, one of the most consistently reliable publishers in the industry, because it is basically all their games are generally the output of 3 really good friends, Javier Georges, Alain Orban, and Sebastien Dudargin. And they often work together on games. Occasionally they publish their own designs. This one is from Sebastien, and Sebastien is a phenomenal designer. And, he works with his 2 companions quite a bit, but it's very rare that he'll put out one of his own standalones. Probably his most famous is Deus, which is easily one of the greatest card special power engine building games of the last decade. It is a criminally overlooked game. It is absolutely brilliant. And so Sebastien is getting back. There aren't very many pictures, unfortunately, but he's getting back into this 2-player.
I was just going to ask if you could share a picture or whatever.
There's the box art, which is nice, and there's
it's
some
not
images.
On the screen right now. Sorry.
Hey, how about I do that? Another reason I'm happy you're here, buddy. Thank you. Let's put that on screen, shall we?
Cool.
So there's the box art. Here's what the Vikings look like. I think this is the same artist they used years ago on the Bloody Inn. Looks very, very similar. But here's a prototype of the game. And I look at this and I say, what is going on? What is this player board I've got? Here's the deal. This is not a Viking pillaging game. This is a Viking engaging in peaceful exploration and trade game, which I very much appreciate. And I guess the name of the game is coming into ports, trading goods, loading them up on your 4 different Viking ships. And this player board you have has slots that you slip things into, and it rotates as well. So I don't know how that works. The description on Board Game Geek promises a very unique hand management system. And again, if you played Deus, that's not just empty hyperbole. That's not just marketing speak. Sebastien Dudargin is an amazing designer. Deus is one of the best modern card games there is. So if he's doing something really new and interesting with rotating personal player boards in a peaceful Viking exploration and trade game, I want to play this game. I'm very, very interested. So often, 2-player games just have to devolve down to, okay, who can beat each other over the head the best? So whenever there's a dedicated 2-player game that is about peaceful exploits, I am definitely there in the first place. And then when it's Sebastien Dudargin, one of the best designers for working with one of the best publishers in the industry, I cannot help but want to seek out number 9 on the list, Lofoten.
Wow, that looks really cool. This one totally flew under my radar, so I had no idea about this game. It just, for whatever reason, I missed out on it, but that looks fantastic.
Yes.
I love that player board. Like, I'm interested to see how the heck
what
that
is
thing's
it?
going to work.
It looks like you can pop the boats in and out.
Yeah.
It rotates. It might have multiple levels of slots. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking, that's the first thing I'm
it.
thinking. Yeah, like, do you, like, rotate and, like, one part of the card gets covered by another one? Like, oh, yeah, that looks really neat.
They're playing their cards literally. Coach their chat. Lofoten is a game for 2 players with innovative card hand management and a rotating board. And the rest is just, thematic setting text.
Great
so that's
choice.
all we know, but I must have it, my precious.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's
what's number 8?
Okay, let's move on to our number 8. Great choice for number 9. This is one I must have as well because my all-time favorite designer has come out with he comes out with games all the time. This one's called Longboard by Reiner Knizia.
The surfing game?
The surfing game, believe it or not. Now, I don't know about you. When I think surfing, I think Reiner Knizia.
Of course.
Okay, not
as
really.
do we all.
Of course, as we all do. But this one is from publisher 25th Century Games, who just came out with a fantastic new version of his classic Raw. So this is a new game, but just looking at it, it gives me vibes of Lost Cities, one of his all-time great games. It's a two to four player game. I'm thinking for a 2-player game, I'm sure it'll work just as well. But you're just trying to create the coolest and longest surfboards in your little surfboard shop, which is your tableau.
Okay.
And like other classic Knizia designs, it's very streamlined. You're going to take two of three actions. You can add a card from the deck to your tableau. You can take a card from your tableau and start, from your supply and start, on your tableau building more surfboards. Or, and this is a nice little twist, you can take a card from your opponent's supply.
Oh.
And then, either mess with them or help yourself. All the different surfboards have different stickers that are different point values. And you're going to go until you have at least one complete surfboard, longboard, that's 7 or more cards. And then you have the choice, Richard. You can end the game right there, or you can continue until the deck runs out. So this, it could be ending right here or there. You can try to get more points by extending the game until all the cards are out. To me, it screams classic Knizia design.
Yeah, very much so.
Partnered with 25th Century Games. All of their games, folks, are the highest quality components and artwork and stuff. So
and designs as well. 25th Century
and,
Games for the last few years has been on a tear, bringing out
a monster tear. Yes.
wonderfully designed game after game after game.
Yeah. Winner after winner. And I think this is another winner chicken dinner. I mean, you have Reiner Knizia, you have 25th Century Games. To me, that's a match made in gamers heaven.
Yeah.
That's why it's number 8, Longboard.
Wow. That is 2 for 2. Things that I saw on the list and said, keep on going, because I'm a Euro snob. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, you know how much I love Knizia, and the fact that he's partnered with 25th Century Games, I think is a good thing all around.
Cool. All right, well, let's move on then to number 7. You love Knizia. I love designer Bernd Eisenstein, and he's bringing a new design for us called Discordia. Yes. And so this is a civilization building game. Bernd is the little independent publisher that could. He's been putting out games under his label Iron Games for years. Peloponnese is still in my top 10 favorite games of all time. I absolutely love that stuff. And this looks like a much prettier and fancier production than we have seen from him. Normally his games are brilliantly designed, but just like a little dry and dusty looking, but this one looks very bright and vibrant and colorful with really nice looking, components and whatnot, and a really great combination of mechanisms I absolutely love. The core driver of the game is every round, 3 dice come out of a bag and get rolled. The lead player gets to take one of the 3 and use that to activate actions. And these actions are do tile laying to create connected worker placement boards, spaces, or do the worker placement, or do various other things. And so it combines worker placement and tile laying to build the workers and dice drafting. I love all of those things. And I love Bernd Eisenstein. I love Iron Games. And after I've chosen my 1 die, the 2 that are remaining, all the other players get to pick from them as well. So it sounds like the draft is very interesting also. This is going to be one that is available, like always. Bernd brings his new stuff out at Essen Spiel. And it would, if I were there in Germany, it would definitely be one I would seek out because his designs, they tend to fly under the radar. And for my money, they tend to be some of the coolest, most interesting and innovative things that come out year after year. And so I am very, very interested in number 7, Discordia.
Yeah, this one I'm interested to, just because of what you're talking about. Iron Games, the ones that I've seen at least, Pandaria or Pandoria. Pandoria and Pact, which was like a card version of that game, or from that in that world. They tend to be sort of like darker, like you said, the art wasn't. It didn't pop as much as Discordia does. So I'm really interested to see this one. He does some really clever things that do tend to fly under people's radars. So hopefully this one's the one that sort of launches him into a bigger audience. Hopefully,
fingers crossed. Yes.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Okay, great choice. Let's move on to number 6. This one I played in prototype form, folks, but I love it. It's called Ready, Set, Bet. And this is going to be ready, and you're going to be able to set bet as well at Gen Con from AEG. Designer John Lee Claire, one of my favorite designers of modern times. Fantastic game, folks. I played this prototype not once, not twice, but thrice. And every single time, I kid you not, every single game always becomes this shouting, in a fun way, shouting match. You're trying to get your horses across the finish line in the order that you want because you're placing bets in real time.
Oh,
yes, that's the twist. Someone is doing the horses, rolling the dice. The horses move along. There's a couple little special abilities too that come into play, but as you're doing it, you have to be able to bet. And only one bet per spot. So if you think the number 3 horse is going to win, you better bet on that one real quick before someone else does. And it's so good because of the special abilities. Each race evolves. So the first race is pretty straightforward. Then the second race, you're going to have a couple of extra different bets come out. And there's special things that for the number 2 horse and the number 12 horse, those numbers may not be rolled as much, but they travel a little further every time they get rolled. And then if you have doubles that are rolled, you're going to move twice. It's so good. I wasn't sure if this would work, but every time I played, it's so much fun. I'm seriously
how does it work? So is there one player who's not playing the game because it's their job just to update the horses?
Now they actually, yes, they do, but then they have a version, a variant where that player can still participate in the betting as well. Yes.
Okay.
And there's also an app, so you can have the app run the horses while everyone plays along.
Nice.
For my money, again, just prototype form, I played it. For my money, it's going to be the best party game of this year, bar none.
Wow.
Because it's a party game that really, it's the closest thing to gambling you'll ever have without risking a penny. Because there's times it's so much fun, Richard. Like Michelle and I, she actually got to play with me one game, and we loved it. It was like, this is gonna be such a hit with our families. You're shouting, you're betting, but there's enough here for gamers as well because there's strategy as far as which ones you're gonna target and which abilities you're gonna use, which ones you're gonna keep from game to game. It's so good. That's why it's our number 6, folks. Ready, set, bet.
Wow, So that is 3 for 3 games that I saw and I just walked right past, did not appreciate what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This one, now I played this at higher player counts, 5, 6, and 7. According to the box, it plays 2 to 9. So I'm really interested to see how they
2 means you must have to use the app then, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. Yeah, but
that still makes sense. 9, I mean, if the app
totally,
is, right? I mean, we can have a rough guess as to how these horses are doing and how the dice are going to roll. I can, wow. And from John D. Claire.
John D. Claire kills it every time.
I know, especially when he's working with AEG. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, love it.
Nice.
So excited about this one. All right.
Okay. Well, folks, this is the episode where Ruel comes up with all the really off-the-wall, amazing things that I had completely foolishly ignored, and I kind of stick to my tried and true, dry and dusty Eurolover stuff, because let's talk about number 5 on the list from Board and Dice Games, Terracotta Army.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. This is the latest game from Board and Dice, and let's see. I do not recognize one of the designers' names. Oh, from who did Blossoms. I played that game. I don't remember much about it. But Adam Kopinski is the name that really got me on board because he is blowing up as a designer. He started out doing like really big Ameritrashy style. I think was he the designer on Nemesis, if I recall correctly? If not Nemesis, or no, Lords of Hellas, I believe. One of them.
Oh, okay.
I forget which one. Now I got to look that up too. And I should have memorized that before we started going. Nemesis and Lords of Hellas. It was both of them. I was right both times. So he started out doing that. But then last year, he was designer on Origins First Builders, also from Board and Dice Games. And that was a phenomenal Euro-style civilization game that just really blew us away. So I said when I covered that, okay, Adam is on my watch list. And when I saw Terracotta Army, the game itself solidified that. This is a game where players are competing to be the most impactful in building the famous Terracotta Army. Here's a really interesting thing about this game. It comes chock-a-block with miniatures of all the different soldiers, and the miniatures are actually held off to the side in a box where they are kept, so where they can't be bent or damaged or anything like that. And when you unlock them, you literally pull them out. It's got this little miniature dispenser, kind of like a Pez dispenser for miniatures, which is just cool in and of itself. But that's not what really gets me excited. There's miniatures for the horses and the advisors and all of that stuff. But the real secret sauce of this game is the action selection wheel. There is this wheel with 3 levels, and on your turn, you are going to take one of your meeples and put it on the outer edge of this wheel and do every action that meeple is looking at on the wheel. But before you do that, you can rotate the center wheel or the outer wheel. One can rotate clockwise, one can rotate counterclockwise. You can actually see they've got the arrows to indicate which. And so it's a worker placement game where the worker placement spots are constantly redefining themselves based on what you do and what your opponents do, and that sounds really awesome to me. I just when I think they can't come up with something new for worker placement, they pull me back in, and so I am very, very keen, very, very excited to check out number 5, Terracotta Army.
Yeah, great choice. This was not on my final 10, but it was definitely a game I was looking at. I honestly thought, okay, you're definitely going to cover this one. Terracotta Army. I mean, cool. I mean, Board and Dice. They put out so many cool Euro games these days, and they're always a company to keep your eye on. And this one I can't wait to play. The whole worker placement thing, I'm always down for it. So I'm looking forward to trying out Terracotta Army. Great choice.
Okay.
Let's move on to my number 4. You're going to recognize the name here when I pop it on the screen. My number 4 is called My Island by our good friend Reiner Knizia.
Yep.
So not only I had one earlier, I've got to put 2 in my
one is not enough.
One is definitely not enough. My Island. Folks, this is based on My City, his legacy tile laying game that came out I think 2 years ago. This is based on it. This is the new one, My Island. And there's not much you can.
No, there's just the box art. Although looking at the box art, not polyomino pieces anymore, hex pieces. Yes. It looks like.
Yeah. So the hexagon shaped ones instead of the polyomino. So we're gonna see what this comes up with. The original was fantastic.
Yes.
You start with a very basic, in My City, you just start with a basic, land, and then you're gonna put the polyominoes there as you draw them, and then it unlocks certain features after every mission. There was I think it was an envelope full of different components that you would add. I'm assuming that My Island's going to be the same, but just with, the hexagon shape.
Right, yeah.
Tiles.
And I'm sure other choices too.
Yeah, so he's a master of design. I'm always excited about his games. We talked about Longboard earlier. This is My Island. That's why it's number 4, because I love Reiner Knizia, folks, and I'm looking forward to My Island.
This would have made my shortlist. This would have made mine as well. But for one reason, and it's actually on here. My Island. Deine Insel wird einzigartig. German. I don't know that this is going to be available in English this year.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because I saw that this was going to be at Essen Spiel. And Cosmos tends to put out stuff in German, and then we don't see it in English, and you need the English version because there's lots of text.
Oh my gosh.
I'm super excited for this too. I guess mostly I'm very, very excited for all of our German-speaking viewers because I do not know if we'll be able to get to play this year.
Wow. Okay, there it is. There's the caveat, folks. It will be available at Essen Spiel, but it probably won't be available in English. So, yes, our German-speaking friends enjoy because I will live vicariously through you as you enjoy.
I look forward to hearing about it because My City was phenomenal. It was a great polyomino game, and it was a fantastic legacy game. I would say it's top 3 best legacy games. Period.
Agreed.
It was so perfectly done. Just about, I had one complaint, which had nothing to do with the legacy, but with the way that he set it up, because after you're done, there's a post-legacy version of the game you can play, which is very interesting and compelling. It's just that when you finish the legacy campaign, about half of all the stuff you unlocked gets thrown away. And it's like, all you needed was just like a little deck of cards that says, randomly mix this feature and this feature and this feature, and you have a unique game. Fingers crossed, the good doctor does something like that for this one, because that would be the only blemish on what was otherwise a near flawless game. Was it My City?
My City.
So My Island. If it works,
let's hope they fix that.
if I were still in my early 20s and I remembered the results of taking German 101 or 102 in college, I might have jumped on it, but that's what kept off my list. But that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so excited about it. But yeah, you're right. I was so excited about it, I didn't even check if it was going to be in English. So there it is.
Well, it could be.
Okay.
They might surprise us, but that is
True.
definitely not Cosmos' MO. All right. Okay. Let's move on then to number 3. Another favorite designer of mine of all time is Vladimir Sushi, and his little publisher that could brings out something new every year. Delicious Games this year is bringing us Woodcraft.
Yes.
Is that right?
I'm
yes.
so glad this is on the list.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you knew I was going to put this on the list.
Yeah. I love
There's no way. Now, if I recall correctly, Vladimir is working with a first-time designer, Ross Arnold. Is that correct?
Right.
Yes, I believe so. Last year he did the same thing with Messina 1347, I think, and that was a phenomenal game. And of course, Vladimir has got some of the greatest Euro designs under his belt of all time. With Underwater Cities and Last Will and Pulsar 2849, so many great games, Shipyard. And so anything that Vladimir's name on, I have to immediately check out. And I'm really, really interested in this too. I have to admit, this morning I was going to read up. I was going to see if I could read some rules about it and all of that. But then I saw this picture of it and said, okay, I don't need to read anything about this game. Look at this. This looks like cardboard Eurogamer bliss. Look at all that stuff on your board. Your little we're elves who are, we'll try and get a right side up one. There's our board. We got our elves working in here. We're obviously going to upgrade our workshops. We're going to, fill them up with all kinds of resources to make all kinds of, is it toys? I don't know. I don't care. There's a central board with lots of cool stuff, progress meters in the forest, and some kind of rondelle looking thing with it looks like, see, honestly, I don't even want to know. Some people, they avoid movie spoilers. I don't want to spoil anything. Honestly, I don't want to spoil getting this game to the table and reading the rules for the first time because it looks like it's got some very, very cool features. I love the fact that the central board is literally a buzzsaw that our little woodcrafters use to build their, whatever it is they're building. And it looks really, really neat. And again, Vladimir Sushi, does he have a bad design? I don't know that he does.
Not that I know of. Yeah.
One of the most reliable designers there is in the industry. So if Delicious is bringing out something new, it's going to be near the top of my list, which is why Woodcraft makes our number 3.
Yeah, and there was like some dice in there too. I thought I saw some dice, and that always reminds me of his, right?
Yes.
There were dice in that. Yeah.
Right.
Pulsar 2849 was such a
one of the best dice
game.
Drafting games, period.
Agreed.
Easily top 5 best dice drafter of all time.
Yeah, so good. So that's why I was so excited about Woodcraft as well. I'm glad to hear that's on the list. Let's move on to our number 2.
Okay.
This one comes as no surprise to you or anyone that knows me. This wasn't on the preview list.
Wait. This is your number 1, right? Because we
for my my number 1.
Let me read your mind. Let me read your mind.
Read my mind.
Number 2 is Twilight Roll and Write. I don't remember the name of it.
Yes, it is Twilight Inscription.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, there it is. So we didn't see it on the preview list, on Gen Con or Origins, but everything I've read from Fantasy Flight Games it says it's gonna be out August or September of this year.
Okay.
And they're already planning like live streams and stuff, so it's gonna be out, folks. We didn't see in the preview list, but it's Twilight Imperium, the roll and write, folks. Years ago, people had joked about it, and I never thought it was gonna be possible, but it's a thing. It's actually happening. It's a 4X game. It's an epic roll and write. This is not going to be a 30-minute roll and write. This is a 2-hour game. It's a legit 4X game. It is monstrous. It's going to take up your entire table. You have player boards. You have central boards. You're going to manage resources. You are going to be doing stuff in Twilight Imperium, but in a roll and write form. So instead of taking 6 to 8 hours, you're only going to take an hour or 2. And that, to me, appeals to me to no end. You're going to explore new worlds. You're going to trade with your fellow other factions in the game. I actually started looking at the Polish rulebook because someone took the Polish rulebook and translated to English. Now the translation's pretty rough.
Okay.
So I didn't totally get it, but it looks phenomenal, folks.
Wow.
For all of you roll and write fans, this is definitely a step up and beyond what you're normally doing for like roll and write games. For you Twilight Imperium fans, 4X fans, they're distilling everything down to a more imaginable level. It looks so cool, and that's why it's our number 2. Personally, my number 1, Twilight Inscription.
And not for nothing, soloable.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You can play it solo, which to me, as a Twilight Imperium player, Twilight Imperium just blows me away that you could solo this.
I know.
So I am so fired up about this, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, I guess Fantasy Flight, they're not Gen Con preview ShmenCon, or maybe they just don't want to commit to Gen Con, but I mean, there's no way they're missing this. Yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic. I'm excited about it too. I didn't even bother because I knew it was going to be on your list, but I might have put it on mine if you hadn't.
Yeah. I'm excited because I know you haven't played Twilight Imperium yet, but I think
and now
this
I won't
might
have
be
to.
like, this is the way to experience it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so excited. Let's move on though. Let's see what's on top of the list for the games that we're excited about.
Cool. Well, the number one should come as no surprise as well. Again, although bearing in mind, this is not just based on things that supposedly are coming out in 2022. Supposedly we're going to get Frosthaven this year. I'm not holding my breath. But of the stuff that I am very, very confident, by far, nothing comes close to number one on the list, Marrakesh. Yeah. Why? 2 words. Stefan Feld. And I want to do a Stefan M and Effin Feld because I love this man. He is my favorite designer of all time. And actually, I could cheat here and say, oh, this is really our top 13. Because not only at Essence Field this year are we getting Marrakesh, a completely new design from the man, but we are also getting, what is it? I opened them up ahead of time. Amsterdam, which is a remake of Macau, one of his greatest designs of all time. New York City, a remake of Rialto, re-envisioning. And Hamburg, a re-envisioning of Bruges, which I've actually played. And it improves on Bruges in so many meaningful ways. But if I have to pick one, I want to pick the one that I haven't played before, Marrakesh. This was a very big hit on Kickstarter. Paul Grogan of Gaming Rules did a great run through of it. So if you want to know more about the game, I don't know very much about this at all. I don't need to know because you had me at Feld. But I love how they've got just, hey, look, here's the scroll from the Kickstarter page. So this is just a way I can just show you what all comes in the box. This is the standard version. I don't know if the deluxe version is going to be available or not. But there's one very, very important thing that puts this so far above and beyond everything else. The Cube Tower.
There it is.
My wife's favorite Feld game of all time for a long time was Trajan, but there's no two ways about it. Now, Amerigo is her favorite because he did something truly amazing with the Cube Tower. And he is revisiting it now as a game where we are, it looks like, I don't even know what it does, but we are building up the city of Marrakesh, making investments in Marrakesh. I'm not sure. I don't know what this big network connection of things means, or these different towers, or these places we could build. All I know is there's going to be a Cube Tower, and it's the latest thing from Stefan Feld, and I must have it, and nothing will stand in my way. I will have this played and run through before the end of the year. Yeah, there's a lot of really great Feld stuff coming, but again, considering how, the Cube Tower, which was originally designed as a weapon, an alternate for dice in warfare games, like Wallenstein and Shogun, but he said, no, these could be used in really interesting ways. It's a die with memory, where you can kind of somewhat predict what's going to happen. Yeah, they can always surprise you. So I cannot see what my favorite designer of all time comes up with when he brings us Marrakesh, which is my most anticipated game for the remainder of 2022.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it must be high on yours as well.
Oh yeah, Stefan Effin Feld, as you said.
The F stands for Feld, folks. We're saying Stefan Feld and Feld.
I figured this. I was wondering where it would come on. So no surprises there. Number one, and I was sort of like I was a little mixed up at first. I was like, wow, there's how many games is he coming out? But then I realized that there were re-implementations of some of his games, and then the new one as well. So a lot of good stuff coming from your favorite designer in the months to come. That's great.
Yep, but that's not all, folks. We're just getting started. I've got 15 other games I could talk about. I don't know if we're going to talk about all of them, but we are going to end our recording right now and go into our post show where we're going to answer questions from the live audience that's been watching us for the last, we've been going for half an hour, I guess, or something like that. And we'll talk about some other titles. Some that I cannot believe. I am shocked that you did not list a few that I did not put on my list because I knew for sure you would do it and you didn't. So we have some splaining to do, which we'll do in the post show. But before we go, folks, remember, check out last episode of the R&R Show and look for the secret word. You've still got when is the next? When are we going to be doing this again, Ruel? The 26th.
End of the month. 26th.
You have until July 26th to enter last episode's contest. Look for the secret word in, what was it? It was our top 10 games we'd buy right now for July 2022. And you might win a $50 gift certificate. But otherwise, I think we're out of here, right?
Yeah, let's go to the post show and we'll talk about more games.
Okay, well, thank you, Ruel, for joining me. Thanks to everybody who showed up live and who is watching after the fact. What did we miss? Let us know down in the comments. But most importantly, thank you to all the supporters of the show who made this bonus episode possible by using the YouTube membership system or the Twitch subscription system or the Patreon subscription system, etc., etc. Thanks to everybody for helping us go. So have a very, very nice day. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye. Hello. Okay.
Okay.
That went pretty well.
Cool.
And I'm going to check feed by saying, that went so smoothly. Like nothing screwed up.
Yeah.
And nothing will screw up, even though I'm pointing it out.
Fingers crossed. And thanks for the good vibes, folks. All right. Cool. So, we are now in the post show.
Yes, we are.
Thank you for
let me
hanging
update
out.
the banner. And thank you, Friendly Little Bear, for your subscription. It's going to take a while, but we're building up for another one of these. Although when we unlock these, it could be a bonus R&R like this. It could be an RVR where we play games together. It could be a top 10. You folks requested and voted for a bonus R&R, and hopefully you found it interesting. Let's see. We are in what? We are in the R&R post-show save. Okay, so what else was on your list, Ruel? Folks, we're going to do some Q&A. We've got about 20 minutes or so, then we'll raid, and we'll be on our merry way. If you have questions about anything, please start your question with a question mark. Otherwise, we won't see it. But while you can think of some questions, Ruel, what else? What was your 6 to 10?
So my 6 to 10, one of them, I thought you were going to talk about Acropolis, the game
tile layer?
The tile layer game, yes. From, what company was it? Jules Masad. I don't recognize the designer. That one just looks cool. From a tile layer, a little medium weight Euro game. I thought for sure that was gonna be on your list. I don't know why.
It looks nice. I'm definitely excited. I actually have an advanced copy of it. I'm hoping to play it sometime over the next couple of weeks. But
cool.
I mean, it doesn't have one of my favorite designers of all time working on it.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't have. What's your favorite designer? Alexander Pfister.
Alexander Pfister has 2 games coming out this year, Sky Mines and Great Western Trail Argentina. Those both made my shortlist, just not my top 5. Because I've played both. I have played the original Mombasa and I have played the original Great Western Trail, so I'm excited to see him doing different things, but that doesn't push me into like top 5 excitement. Gotcha.
Okay, the other one was actually a game called Woodcraft, and I actually, it was really close to Woodcraft that you had brought up, but Woodcraft was his new game by Christian Glove. I think it's his first design, but it's a word game, but it's got some area control to it, which I thought was really unique.
Okay, that's cool.
And then the next 3, Gift of Tulips from Weird Giraffe Games. This one I've seen out of. I think I've seen a preview. I think I saw a preview of it last year at Gen Con. It's from Weird Giraffe Games, a 2 to 4 player game set collection. Very, really beautiful. This one I thought for the next one, my number 7 actually was Terra Nova. I thought this would be on your list as well.
I thought about that one, yes.
Yeah, this one I'm looking forward to a lot. A leaner, shorter version of Terra Mystica.
Yes.
That one I'm really excited about. And then the 6th one, and I'm assuming I missed some games because I don't think this might have been one that you'd point out, but Birdwatcher. I love Birdwatcher. I played a prototype.
Oh, that was an excellent game, yeah.
Yeah, excellent little game. But now I'm curious, what games did you think I was going to put on my list?
Okay, where the heck is your Starship Captains?
Starship Captains
from CGE.
That was on the list?
No,
did I miss that?
I would have. Starship Captains is my number 7.
Wow. I didn't even see
and honestly,
that.
if I'd known you were leaving it out, I would have bumped it up a couple. CGE Games putting out a to boldly go where no one has gone before, Star Trek inspired science fiction Euro game. Yes, please.
Yeah.
I thought for certain it was going to be on your list.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this game. It wasn't, shame. Was it on both lists? I didn't see it on either list. I can't believe I missed it. I'm embarrassed actually.
Well, okay.
This looks fun. Yeah.
So I had Starship
Okay,
Captains.
what about yours?
I had Joan of Arc, the Orleans Roll and Write.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yep.
Which is
Saw that.
basically Orleans, except there's just one bag that all the workers come out of, and then they get put out and play, and then we take turns drafting them and doing a roll and write. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. I love roll and writes. I love Orleans. I've got nothing but high hopes for it. I have 2 games from Uwe Rosenberg. I talked about one in a previous R&R. Orienberger Canal. I talked about it when it was crowdfunding. It should be coming out by the end of the year. Looks like not quite one of his heaviest games, but also not a lightweight game, kind of more of a midweight, all about building up industry in, I think, Renaissance era Germany, and also building up the canals to support it. But what I was even more excited about was a game I hadn't heard of before called, I don't know how to pronounce it, Atiwa. I'm going to say Atiwa. And this is, I think it's another polyomino tile layer, I think, if I recall correctly, or maybe not. But it's kind of likened to something similar to a patchwork level game, but it's not polyominoes. It's grids of cards. But it's all about the symbiotic relationship that truly exists in the Ottawa region of Africa. I think it was Africa, where farmers work hand in hand with fruit bats to basically, if I recall correctly, pollinate their crops. And it tells the story of how we used to think they were pests, but now they're like the center of our ecosystem. And I love the story of that, and I love Uwe Rosenberg designs, and it's him doing farming again, but somehow finding a new way to do it with bats. Let's see, cool. And then Stellarian, which is the next game in the Onorum series from Shady Torbe. So I'm excited about that.
I thought we talked about that one before, didn't we? I thought we did.
I don't think so.
Okay, I thought we did for some
But
reason.
I had a bunch more. Like I mentioned, the two, Alexander Pfister revisiting 2 of his greatest designs of all time with Sky Mines, which I actually have played, and I'll have a video of that going up later this week. Great Western Trail, Argentina. Marvel Remix is going to be at Gen Con, and that's Fantasy Realms in Marvel.
Yes.
That's super must-have for me. That almost pushed its way in. I did have My Island, except I figured the German thing. Oh! Here's one I just read about this morning. King of Monster Island. A co-op sequel to King of Tokyo from Richard Garfield.
Oh, wow. Okay, that would have made
Has Richard Garfield done a co-op game before?
Not that I know of, but that would definitely be on my list.
Yes.
Man, that sounds cool.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right.
And those are all ones that were in the previews. If we take the out stuff, there's Frosthaven, there's Weather Machine, there's Clank Catacombs, a Clank but tile layer. Endless Winter Paleo American should be coming, fingers crossed. But again, leave it off the list because if it's not on the previews, chances are it's not going to make it. Oh, and then honestly, the one that might have been my number 1 or maybe my number 2, Tiletum. Which is, again, from Board and Dice, and it is Daniele Tassini and, his co-designer on Zolk and the Mayan Calendar. Fabio, gosh, that's going to drive me nuts.
Not Lopiana.
I got to look it up now, and I'm going to be so embarrassed. 2 of the greatest, Daniele Tassini and Simone Luciani. When those 2 work together, they make truly great stuff. And Tiletum used dice for resources and actions to gain riches in the Renaissance. You had me at Tassini and Luciani getting together again for the first time in years. And here's the deal. I don't know if it's going to make it because Board and Dice did put Terracotta Army in the previews, but they did not put Tiletum in the previews, which makes me wonder, will it make it? So I left it off the list.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff for the rest of the year, folks.
Oh, I see the Lord of Cardboard had me Simone Luciani. I should have gone to the chat. I forgot. We have a chat. Hey, let's see. Did they actually ask us any questions? Hi, chat.
Yeah, we do have some questions in the chat right now. So let's go check it out here. This is from our friend the Fours. Was recently listening to Board Game Hot Takes podcast and he pondered why a legacy 2-player game hadn't come out. Have y'all heard anything on that front?
2-player only.
2-player only, I haven't.
No, and honestly, if my guess would be because legacy game development is hard and expensive.
Yep.
And production is incredibly expensive. So I would think it just doesn't make financial sense for a publisher to really restrict their potential audience. Because hey, I love 2-player games. They're my favorite thing. But and there are some 2-player games that really are some of the best sellers of all time. Seven Wonders Duel. But if you want to up your chances, you want to make sure as many people as possible can play your game if you're investing so much into its development. That would be my guess.
Makes sense. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Just strictly from a money standpoint. Let's see. Kabuki Kid asks, how many games per month, would you guess you play purely for enjoyment, not for preview or review purposes, and not filmed?
0.
0, huh? Wow.
Big goose egg. Everything I play is in service of the channel.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, because we played a few games when we were on the road, and there are games I know I'm probably never going to film, but still, here's the deal. When I was trying to decide what games am I going to take, I was going to try and take games that are small, portable, but every single game I took was one we had not played yet. So at the very least, I can play them and then talk about them on the Roundup Show. So it has been years since I have played a game solely for the purpose of just playing a game.
Interesting. I would say for me at least 10 games a month, that minimum. But now it is influenced by what I'm filming or recording though, because for instance, I just did a live stream of Framework, Uwe Rosenberg's new game, that was basically the next iteration of Nova Luna. Right. Michelle and I live streamed it, and we loved it so much we played it like 4 or 5 times afterwards, non-film. So
that I would say that's it. I mean, 4 or 5 times before you filmed meant it was just making sure you had a smoother stream. But if you kept playing it afterwards, no, that's totally legit.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we do that a lot, and then every now and then, like the other day, we just played a quick roll and write just for funsies. So we do have.
I think the last time I did one would have been maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I forget which convention. It was either Dice Tower West or Board Game Geek Con. Rodney Smith wanted to play Fresco, and he was looking for people to teach him. And Fresco is one of Jen's and my favorites of all time. So I sat down and played Fresco and taught Rodney, and Rodney won. His first game ever. And and so that's the most recent one. And that must be at least 2 or 3 years ago.
Great question. Here's one from Gadam Gray. Do you have a list of all the games you played on your trip?
Let me think. Let me see if I can do it from memory. We played P-Dub, how do you say Phil Walker Hardening? Explorers.
P-Dub-H.
P-Dub-H's Explorers. Played that a lot. Played that with Jen. Played that with the niece and nephew. Played that with Jen's sister. So that one got played the most. Played Walkie Talkie, which you had mentioned.
Yes.
That was very clever. Neat little game. Played Trek 12. Another roll and write. Okay. Played Dinosaur Island RAR and write, which was excellent.
Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it.
Yes.
I love that game.
Although,
so much.
Probably made a mistake because we played that with the niece and nephew, and they're sharp kids. They played lots of Magic the Gathering, so they can learn. But, I mean, it was so far outside of anything they'd ever experienced. It's a really crunchy little roll and write.
Yeah.
And, they never really played any kind of Euro like that, so it was like, learning how to ride a bicycle for them, whereas me and Jen like, I understand how this works. And if Jen and I had played it, it probably would have been an hour, but it was like almost 2.5, almost 3 hours to play that with them. But we all had a great time.
Good. Yeah, that game's such a great game. I love it. Fun fact, I actually moved on from Dinosaur Island and kept Roar and Write. I prefer that version. It's just faster. It's easier to get to the table, and it's a faster game.
I would be remiss to mention, because it just went live on Kickstarter now, Sunshine City. I don't know if you have these, Ruel. You're going to need to do something, because Sunshine City just went live on Kickstarter today, right? It's another one of those games that's inspired by the success of Voyages. It's a print and play only game. You buy it for $5, and you get a bunch of maps you can download and stuff like that. So these are becoming more and more common. Jen got these things. You just slip a piece of paper in, and then it becomes a roll, and you don't have to laminate nothing.
Oh, cool.
It's so cool. So we Jen, she has a green one and a purple one for me, one for her. So I took this along, and we played this a few times as well, with just a single sheet, and we could just keep erasing and with a dry erase marker.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, where did she get them?
She got them at some stationery store. She hadn't gone looking for it. She just saw it and thought, oh my gosh, because we had just recently tried to play Voyages for the first time. And we don't have a laminator, so we were just reprinting out pages over and over again. And it's like, this is ridiculous. And then a few days later, Jen saw this, and it's just so clever. It just works it's perfect.
So it's literally just a plastic sleeve.
It is a plastic sleeve that will fit an A4 with a little bit of space extra, and you can just slip things in. It holds the pages in tight. They do not move around. Okay. I mean, you could actually throw in like 4 or 5 sheets of paper in here and just have a ton of games you're carrying with you.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to check that out. I need to find one. Okay, let's see what else. Here's a question about did you love or how'd you like Thor Love and Thunder?
I loved Thor Love and Thunder. I thought it was fantastic. I've only seen it once, so I'd want to watch it again, but I am almost inclined to say I liked it more than Ragnarok.
Really?
And that seems to be, it's getting a lot of, boy, this is just more of the same. Taika Waititi's just repeating himself. And like, one, how is that a bad thing? Did you see Thor Ragnarok? Why would you not want more of that? More just insanely mind-boggling visuals, incredible humor, and mixed with really heart and character growth and all that. I won't spoil anything about it other than to say I was grinning like an idiot from start to finish. Every laugh landed hard for me and Jen. She loved it too. And like I said, it's literally like a music video for Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. That's all I need to hear. If it's like a Guns N' Roses video, I'm there 100%. Let's see. Okay, here's another interesting one. How do you organize your games physically speaking? You can see mine. I have mine, face up like Richard's, but behind these, I just throw whatever will fit, and I just, I don't have a list, unfortunately. What about you? You're way more organized than I am.
I have every one of these boxes has 4 or 5 games, standing up like a book, and then just one game in front. Now, but is the question about the games or how we organize stuff inside the box? I guess it's this. So there is really not much rhyme or reason. Pretty much everything you can see are games I'm just really, really fond of, and I just want to kind of raise the awareness of, and they're all ones I played more recently.
Yeah,
there's a little bit of organization. Like most of the Feld games are kind of over in that area. I used to be much more organized by designer and style of game, but then when I realized I'm out of space, hey, you know what? If I put boxes in front, not only does my background look a lot nicer, but I can store a lot more games. After I did that, everything went cattywampus, and I just now rely on, like you said, I have a Word document that is basically a gigantic grid that lists at a glance what's in every single one of these little cubbies. And if I'm looking for a game, I just open that document, Control F, find the game, and it tells me exactly where it is, and I just go grab it.
Yeah, and I need to take that next step because it can be overwhelming. Here's a question. This was from a little earlier. AG Fox says, if you did the RV thing, would you take a trailer for games?
I don't think so. I don't think that's necessary. I did a couple of years ago a top 10 games for RV living, which was not what we just did. We just had a really quick RV trip, so I was trying to take really small stuff. But RV living means, okay, I'd want to take Gloomhaven. I would want to have Gloomhaven on the road, and I believe it could be done. When I did that, everybody mocked me, but here's the deal. Don't take the entire box for Gloomhaven. Just take the components. The components, break down into just, some boards and whatnot. In Gloomhaven's case, don't take half of the components because all of that can be replicated with the really excellent Board Game Digital Helper app. So I think these big boxes, if you leave the boxes at home and do tricks like this, any one of these boxes, you could put 4 or 5 euros if you get rid of the inserts. I do not need, just amongst the boxes you can see, there's probably 30 dice. I only need to take 5. And I can use them amongst all those games. You know, there are ways that you could. So my inclination would be, I mean, the RVs I've seen have so much storage. I'd be willing to bet I could probably get 20 games that I would love to be able to really play over and over and over again if I leave the boxes home.
Yeah.
Without needing a separate trailer.
Yep. I think that's so true. This is an interesting question. So Matt Levy asks, gambling addiction is a real problem.
Ooh.
Isn't Ready, Set, Bet basically like a socially acceptable game about addiction? Whoa. That's a really interesting thought.
Yeah, because you sold it. This is as close as you can get to gambling without actually gambling.
Yeah. So when I say that, you know, I'm that thrill of, you know, you place say a bet and then you win. That there's that thrill, and I don't know if I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a socially I wouldn't say it's a game about addiction. It's a game about placing a bet, and you know, if you have problems with that, then this game will not be for you. If you have the basic concept is you are placing bets at the racetrack. If you have a problem with that in any shape whatsoever, then yes, this is not the game for you.
Yeah.
If you're okay with betting on something, or you know, bet or placing a make believe bet on something, I think it's a lot of fun. But that's a really interesting point, Matt. Something I have not thought about.
Here's the way I would look at it. Ready, Set, Bet is a board game equivalent of a Shirley Cocktail. Or Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
A Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to have that kind of feel of a cocktail without actually drinking. And you know, it's a way it provides that. Now the question is a game like this something that could be a potential gateway to real gambling? I suppose that's possible, but if a game like Ready, Set, Bet is something that pushed you over, you're going to get pushed over just every time you go into a 7-Eleven and you see all those lotto cards all over the place.
Exactly.
That's going to be something that, you know, feeds a true addiction. If anything, I would hope that this is something that could serve for if you are somebody who actually really does suffer from it. I mean, because it is. I mean, make no mistake, Matt Levy is right. It is a real psychological problem for some people. Gosh, what was it? There was a quote in the final season of West Wing that so stuck with me, where somebody was talking about their lifelong struggle with alcohol abuse, and they talked about how, I just don't understand how you can do it. I don't understand how you can just take a single sip and put the glass down. It's impossible for me to do that. And so I appreciate just how hard it is to fight addiction. Is it good to have alternatives? I mean, is Ready, Set, Bet somebody who's like, look, I need to have that fix. Is this game going to help them get off? The same way methadone can help people get off of smoking. I don't know. I've never given it a second thought, too. It's a really interesting topic, though.
It is, yeah. And there's so many ways you can think about it. And then I guess you can argue with for other themes in games. I mean, if I play Blood Rage, does that mean I want to go kill, you know, people, you know, or whatever? And I would say no. But that's an interesting thought. I appreciate you sharing that, Matt. I don't have an easy answer. I don't think it can be easily answered here, but appreciate that. Let's go. Oh, we're actually getting close on time here. Let's move on to the next one here. And sure enough, okay, here it is. If you could have a game night with a celebrity not from the industry, who would it be? Ooh.
Honestly, I don't really care. I don't really care much about celebrity. I wouldn't care about the game. For me, it would just be an opportunity to quiz the person. Since this is not an anybody in history thing, I'll just assume it's somebody in real life. I'd probably want to do it with Barack Obama. Probably. That would be he'd be my first immediate pops into my head.
I would say, just because we were talking about it earlier, Tom Cruise. Why not? I'd play a game with Tom Cruise.
For just sitting down and hanging out, probably the celebrity I think I would be most comfortable with and have the most fun with, Kevin Smith, the director.
Oh, I love Kevin Smith.
I love just listening to him talk.
Yeah,
I bet he would be a blast.
He would be. He could just monologue for like 3 hours. I'd be happy to listen to that monologue. You know, because he has. You know, did you know he's coming out with a Clerks 3?
Yes, it's coming. Yep. I just saw the trailer the other day.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yep.
Okay, we got time for another question or two. Let's move on here. Oh, here's one. Here's a game-related question. Best Ryan Lockett game for a solo player. I've not played any of his games solo. Have you?
I have, yes. I need to look at a list, but I can probably answer that. I've filmed several of his, I think, in solo modes. Because more and more I find if a game has a really good solo mode that really captures the feeling of the multiplayer mode, I will often prefer to film it solo because, one, I don't screw up as much. And two, I have actually more fun because I'm really playing the game rather than trying to balance two players worth of stuff in my head, which just does my head in. You've done it a few times now. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, totally. I respect you before. I have an even greater respect for you now that I've worked for the channel.
Let's see here. Really, I wouldn't say Sleeping Gods because juggling 8 characters is a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't think I played Near and Far, or the most recent one, Now or Never. I don't think did I play that one solo? Honestly, I mean, I think Near and Far I did play that one solo because actually I played that a bit solo. I think after I'd played it with Jen, so I could get a bit more before I filmed it, and so I might go with that one.
Okay.
I think so. Maybe the most recent one. Wait, no. It's not Near and Far. Near and Far doesn't have a solo. Oh, yes, it does. It had that. It was that expansion. The Near and Far does not, but it was an expansion that turned it into a co-op game, and therefore you could play it solo. So that was actually pretty nice. That's probably the one I'd go with off the top of my head because I'm having a hard time getting a list of everything he's got.
Okay, cool. Let's see. People talking about Stranger Things 4. No spoiler thoughts.
Thank you.
No
I'm only 4 episodes in.
Yeah. Kabuki Kid asked, did you have a chicken sitter while you were gone?
Yes, we did. Our neighbor, Eileen, she just moved in. She's a grandma who just moved in the neighborhood so she could be closer to her grandkids who are a few houses down. And it turned, Jen was talking to her one day and she just mentioned, I've always loved chickens, but I've never actually been around any of them. But like all of her interior decor is chicken based. And Jen said, really? Well, if you'd like to get your hands dirty, literally. And so Jen brought her over and literally just handed her a chicken. Here's a chicken. Hold her. Cool. And she just instantly fell in love. And when we got back, she said, I had the greatest time. She would just sit and apparently it's a term amongst the chicken community. It's called chicken gazing. And you just kind of just zone out and stare at the chickens doing their chicken thing.
I had no idea chicken gazing was a thing.
It's totally a thing.
Wow, that's so cool. Okay. We've got, let me see. We could do a couple of quick ones real quick just to finish up stuff. Ruckus says, have you heard of the new cooperative Carcassonne? And I had no idea there was a cooperative Carcassonne. Did you?
Is that a new published one or is that just like a variant or something?
I have no idea what Ruckus is referring to. I did not see anything about Carcassonne being cooperative.
Wow.
I know there's like a solo variant for the original, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to look it up right now. I don't see any cooperative.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Carcassonne gets spooky with a new spin-off co-op game. I actually saw this, that it's like a Halloween-themed Carcassonne, and I'm embarrassed. I just kind of ignored it because the brief description I saw kind of described it sort of as a, like for kids, like Carcassonne for kids kind of a thing. So I didn't look at it that close.
Yeah, I was the same way. I just thought, it's just a re-theme, like a Halloween-y thing for kids. But wow, it's cooperative. Cool.
No, thank you, whoever suggested that. I'm just gonna put on my list of things to look at more closely. I'm embarrassed.
Very cool. Okay, let's do one more question.
One more.
Last one. The last one for today. Is it hard to think about new games that are coming out after having reviewed prototypes of crowdfunding games that are finally getting released? Because for you, it's kind of old news.
Hard to think about new games that are coming out after having reviewed prototypes. Oh! No! Well, I mean, yeah, there's no choice about it. I mean, I'm certainly affected by that. And obviously, yes, if I've already played it, there's no way I can actually have the same level of enthusiasm as I would for something I haven't played. That's just, I mean, although not all people are like that. Some people are like, I don't want to learn something new. I have more enthusiasm for something I've already played, and I get to go back and spend more time with it. But I love Cult of New stuff. I am a huge Cult of New guy. I have actually wavered about that over the years when I'm trying to make lists for like Essen or whatever, like shopping lists for people. And like sometimes I've said, okay, here's all the ones I've actually played. Let me rank those. And now let me give you a separate list of all the ones I haven't. But ultimately, I've decided to, usually when I've tried to do this, let me just look at all of these things and pretend I haven't played it, but based on what I know of it, and I just know a little bit more about it, where does it fit? Based on the designer and the publisher and the mechanisms and the art and all of that. Am I more excited about this or am I more excited about the other? And I've been able to thread that needle without too terribly much trouble.
Yeah.
What about you?
Me personally, I all these games get all mixed up in my mind anyway. So it's like I'm excited about them all, and I don't know when they're releasing. But yeah, it can be it can be a little tough to keep track of stuff. But yeah, I try to I like to maintain the.
Well, I mean,
maintain
like in the list we just did, one of yours was a game you'd already played.
Yeah, Ready Set Bet.
Did that have a tendency because you knew it to put it at the top of your list? And you're like, oh, I got to pull that back, or did you think, oh, I already know this one, I'm not really that interested? But no, you put it on the list anyway. How did that work out for you?
Yeah, I put it on the list because yeah, I grew up as someone that went to the racetrack when I was a kid and as a young adult. So I do have a lot of fond memories there. So for the theme itself grabbed me. But then, seeing John D. Clare's name on there, of course I'm gonna be excited. And yes, the fact that I did actually play the prototype, that bumped it up a notch for me personally. So that's what I
Nebel Uber Carcassonne.
Nebel
Yeah.
Uber.
Apparently it does not have an English title yet. Or at least not in Board Game Geek. But apparently it's going to be Fog over Carcassonne is going to be its English title. Which you can't find it on Board Game Geek. You have to search for the German version. It's so brand new. Thank you for ever pointing that out. I'm embarrassed. I missed a lot of stuff today. Thank you, everybody, for helping me fill in those holes.
Okay. So those are the questions that came in today. I want to thank everyone for hanging out. We are at the 2-hour mark, or a little over that. Anything else we got to take care of, my friend, before we get out of here?
We just got to raid somebody. We're not raiding you, right?
Not raiding me. I see our friend Becca Scott is playing some board games right now.
What is she up to?
Let's see. I think it's she and our friend Jake Michaels. They're playing Marvel Dice Throne.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought for sure it was going to be a video game. And we're like, oh, but no, I mean, Marvel, that looks really, really cool, I have to admit. So that sounds like a good way to return the favor, because I believe she's rated us once or twice. So, the Becca Scott Live. Yep. Oh, there it all is. All laid out. Oh, and what is it? It's Thor versus Loki. How perfect. Okay, folks. Go raid in. I'm going to go find the button. All right, you're thinking about it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Raid! Go, 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 go! And off they go. Okay, it looks like it worked.
It worked. Yay. Okay,
all right. Sweet. Well then.
All right.
That's cool.
Great show.
All right. Yep. All worked out fine. And I'll see you again. I think it's just 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Next week I'm doing I'm recording the podcast. And then we're just doing the regular thing on the 26th.
Yep.
Perfecto. Cool. All right.
Thank you, my friend.
I'll talk to you soon, man. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Please don't delete. Please don't delete now.